Good morning. How we doing? So, hope you all had a good weekend. I know I did. Got busy hiding eggs, painting eggs, all that jazz. Did you guys all see that there's this other podcast / live stream that I'd never watched? Not to say that if I hadn't watched it, it's not a big deal. But this TBPN, I don't even know what it stands for. Technology's Daily Show, TBPN, got acquired for like somewhere between $100 and $300 million by OpenAI. Has absolutely broken me. Get off your arse, make a long black. Yeah, go ahead and do it. Is a long black an Americano, but you put the espresso in last? Is that what a long black is? I think I had that recently for the first time. What up, Roman? Yeah, okay, I got it right. All right. So one of the things I wanted to start talking about today, we can go over a bunch, but the Internet Crime Complaint Center, IC3, otherwise known as, put out their yearly report, and it's always staggering. So like the number of complaints per year is just straight up and to the right, and then the losses that they can even account for. This is people who lost stuff in cyber attacks, scams, whatever it is, and actually called and reported it to this complaint center that they can track. So, which is not everyone, right? By any means. This is analysis of data submitted through the IC3.gov. So like that's it. It's always like the old group is always losing the most, $7 billion in complaint for 60 plus. Little unfair because everything else is like a decade, right? Everything else is 10 years, and then 60 plus could obviously be, 40 years or so of a group. But by population numbers, these are probably pretty close, right? It's like after 70, I think 60 to 80, though, probably just has sheer more people than some of these other ones. But this stuff is always kind of crazy. So I wanted to go through this, kind of talk about like what they're seeing. I scrolled through maybe the first half of this report. I would love to see if they have trends. This was the one that I thought would have been bigger. I have been hearing about these romance scams like at an alarming rate. My DMs are filled with, oh man, my mom has sent, $30,000. We had to cut my mom's credit cards off, and she's still finding ways to send this guy money. She thinks that she's dating some person from one of her TV shows. If I tell you I get 3 of those stories in my DMs every month, I'm not exaggerating. Like it's pretty intense. It's just everywhere. Why did I get a notification for this? Oh, that was weird. Sorry, distracted. Did I mention DanaBot? No. What's DanaBot? Good morning, people. As you gather, I see people rolling in. I thought that this would have been higher just by the sheer amount of people that reach out to me and say that they're so-and-so. I will also say, I know a number of people that have lost $30,000 to $60,000 that have not submitted a complaint about this. They are so embarrassed. They're so embarrassed that they got through this. DanaBot banking Trojan. No, we can pull it up in a little bit. Surprised the FBI has enough people to put this report together. Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean? Why are you surprised? Other story I have queued up. Yeah, I mean, obviously this isn't the FBI or the IC3, but it's just like directionally what we're dealing with here. So I would love to know what they consider an investment crime here, right? I'm guessing it's like a lot of the pig butchering stuff, right? But that's staggeringly, it's a staggeringly big jump. If we got like about $1 billion in romance scams, about $1 billion in personal data breaches. So this is like human got hacked, right? Their accounts got hacked and drained. I'm also curious if cryptocurrency is included here, or if this is just straight US dollars. Let's see if they put that information up front. Collection. IC3's primary connection between the FBI and the public for receiving and coordinating information. Victims are encouraged and often directed by law enforcement to file the complaints. Analysis, referral. Got it. Did they say up here? Based on the information we receive, publishes public awareness. 20 billion mark. Investment-related fraud was once again the largest component of the lawsuit, followed by business email compromise and tech support scams. The FBI continues to disrupt, deter malicious cyber actors. One example was Operation Level Up, which countered crypto investment scams. The FBI-led initiative has reduced potential losses by more than 500 million. All right. So yeah, that leads me to believe that yes, crypto is included in this, which is an important distinction, right? At the time of publication, the FBI was engaged in Operation Winter Shield, which highlights concrete steps for organizations to bolster their digital security. All right, whatever the hell that all means. So I didn't see the romance scam on this list. Oh my God, it is there, but it's low. So that's got to be like pound for pound. Right? So you got 23,000 complaints. Yeah, 181,000 are crypto related. So 23,000 complaints leading to almost $1 billion in losses. So that it jumps pretty high up the list from number of complaints to dollars. Investment, 72,000. So by number of complaints, 72,000, 8 billion. I want to see the divided by. I want to see dollar per number of complaint. Is that on here? If I keep going, no. That's pretty wild. Cyber-enabled fraud includes complaints where criminals use the internet or other technology to commit fraud. They use the internet to commit fraud. Imagine that. I think we use the internet for everything. It kind of feels like antiquated language. They use the internet to commit fraud. Imagine doing something without the internet. Top 5 cyber-enabled fraud crime types by count. How is this different than what we were talking about above? I mean, these numbers look the same. I guess some of the above is not fraud. Is that what we're talking about? Yeah. See, okay. I knew it, right? When you get into the investment scam side, 8 billion, I knew that had to have been crypto. And by far, 72% of the investment is this reported transaction types in fraud. Yeah. So like crypto for sure, right? Like crypto fraud is way more prevalent than anything else going on. Wire transfer ACH, sure, there are clawback mechanisms here. Crypto, it's like you send it, it's gone. There's no bank to like help you out in recovering all this stuff. I'd love to know business email compromise. Like that means something very specific. So I'm trying to think of like what scams would absolutely fall under that. And then it's all wire transfer from there. So if you hack a business email account, you're just wire transferring. Romance scams are all over the map. A lot of gift cards. So this is how, so like the people that I know that have had family members that have fallen for the romance scams, they cut them off, right? They like, it's generally elderly people, and their kids, their family will just be like, hey, you can't, you lose access to your bank account, your credit card, your Venmo, whatever, right? They can cut them off from that kind of stuff. But then what the scammers do, because they think they're in love with someone, they're dating someone, right? And that they desperately need money because they're in the hospital or something, whatever the scam is. So they'll get them to go out and buy these gift cards or figure out how to get them to send crypto. Yes, sextortion just like disgustingly skews super young, of course. A lot of this is teenagers, which is just disgusting and insane. I went and saw, you guys saw that I was speaking at PAX East, right? A couple of weeks ago in Boston. It's like a gaming conference. They had a talk put on by a ClickSafe, which is a really great group that is all about like children's safety in online gaming. And they put a talk on, and the kind of the main presenter on the panel is not with ClickSafe, or maybe they volunteer, but they're a lawyer who prosecutes this stuff. And the stuff that they were sharing was just insane and disgusting. And I did a whole YouTube video about it. It's probably one of my worst performing YouTube videos because no one wants to talk about this stuff. But if you scroll down on my YouTube channel, there's one Roblox logo, and the title is Child Exploitation. And I kind of talk about that talk by ClickSafe. But some of these hacker groups that like we deal with in the cybersecurity space, right? The people that are really good at ransomware and all this kind of stuff, they commingle with a lot of these like gaming and child exploitation group. They're kind of the same, right? So they're all cut from the same cloth. And one of the stories that I heard, actually I heard it at SleuthCon. I didn't even hear it from this ClickSafe thing. At SleuthCon, they were talking about one of these hacker groups, and they were saying that they were basically sextorting this girl on the phone, like while like threatening a school at the same time. Like they just went on this hyper targeted thing, and they were like messing with this guy, and they were like extorting his girlfriend while threatening his school or something like that. I mean, it was just insane. I knew a guy at a bar who stole money from the safe to buy gift cards at Walmart and was told to read the back of them, and then the guy on the phone in the Walmart bathroom so he wouldn't get in trouble with the law. And he did it. I'm guessing he was doing sketchy stuff already, and this guy on the phone found the best art. Yeah. I mean, it's a numbers game for these scammers, right? They just you know, spray and pray. You guys have gotten the texts, right? They just bounce off of you. They don't bounce off of everybody, right? What's up, David Axios? Yeah, we covered it a ton last week, a ton. I put out a whole video about it. So what, any questions? I'm happy to talk about it again, but. I got to film. Oh man, I got to film something. When am I going to do that? Oh, I don't know. I got to film bits about the iOS exploitation kit now that you mention it, and get that out the door. Yeah, This is nuts, though. I mean, so the sextortion obviously skews super young. A shocking amount of it is towards men, too, right? Like you would think that the attackers would be men, and so they would be, statistically targeting women or young girls. And a shocking amount of it is actually men, because they'll pose as girls, convince them, or they are actually girls in these hacker groups, and they'll get men to send, sexual pictures or whatever, and then flip it and extort them to not release it. This also, like, they should put another column here. There's another thing to really track in these cases. Honestly, with all of these cases, and the FBI should be a little bit more transparent about it, a lot of people involved, a lot of victims involved, especially in sextortion, wind up like committing suicide. Like, you're talking about a teenager that you're basically threatening to ruin their life if they don't pay you money that they probably don't have, right? And so a lot of them just off themselves, right? And so, like, yeah, $1 billion in losses. How many lives lost? What the fuck? I didn't know that was a link that I just clicked. Where are we? Where were we? Right here. So I mean, that's like another stat that should be talked about, right? It's not just like they gave up money, right? $1 billion under 20. You know what I mean? That's a lot. Like, they don't have, you're 18, you don't have that money, right? Like, so that's why it's a steep drop off, right? In like dollars per victim, right? 20, okay, you've got a job, whatever. But I mean, these are children you're talking about, under 20. $5,700 submissions involving minors. So half-ish of the under 20 count was under 18. And this is just US, man. This is just FBI, right? This is just US based, and just in 2025. Like, the numbers are ridiculous. It is sad. All right. Cryptocurrency investment scams. So this is by far the biggest in dollar losses, right? 7.2 billion of the 8 billion of total investment scams. 7.2 involved crypto. So the scammers initiate contact through text messages and then quickly moved the conversation to a messaging platform. Often the victims are introduced to investment groups representing themselves to be knowledgeable industry insiders offering guidance on trading or investing in cryptocurrency or gold. The victims are enticed to send cryptocurrency to fake investment scam platforms or apps and are shown fake profits and offered loans to encourage larger investments. Eventually, when the victims try to withdraw their money, they will be charged taxes and fees as a final attempt to exploit money from the victims before the scammers disappear with all the victims' funds. Victims are also targeted in recovery scams. Yeah, so they hit them on the way out too. So they're like, oh, you lost money to a scam? We'll help you recover it. And they pose as law firms. These scams are often devastating because they can leave victims with significant financial loss and emotional distress. The FBI is where, so again, a lot of loss of life here too. A lot of loss of life. What do you mean teach this stuff in school? There's no way they teach this stuff in school. The teachers are falling for this stuff. What's up? Thanks for subscribing. Welcome. They can run ads for these investment platforms before people realize they're fraudulent. Excessive flattery, emphasize with and often suffering from similar life events as the victim, coaching on how to respond to law enforcement. This is wild. The pitch. Once you establish trust, criminals introduce the topic of investing. It's common for scammers to say They themselves or people in their family or close network are experts in such investments. Gosh. The platforms seem legit, right? They'll even like have two-factor on them. So it's like, oh, you're securing your account, but it's an account on a fraudulent site. Is Shiny Hunter still in Cisco? You mean like they haven't kicked him out for a breach? Not that I know of. Once the victim starts to invest, returns shown on the investment platform will appear to be extremely lucrative, encouraging the victim to invest more and more. It's common in the early stages for scammers to allow victims to withdraw not only the original deposit, but the earnings as well. This is tricking them, a means to reassure them that the platform is legitimate. Scammers use various methods to sweeten the pot. Matching. They provide their own funds to the victim's portfolio to help the victim reach an arbitrary investment goal. Scarcity, stating the returns or the investment opportunities are only available in a short time period. Taxes, fees, and the end of the scheme. Once the victim is ready to withdraw all their earnings, they will find their account frozen and an arbitrary requirement will arise, usually in the form of taxes or fees to unlock their funds. This is a trap. It's simply another method used by the scammers to try to convince the victims to invest even more money. And then recovery. I've seen these recovery ads. They're like actual, it looks like personal injury lawyer type ads. It's like, have you lost money in a scam? Like we're proven to help you recover this. And it's literally the same people that just stole your money. Insane. Insane. Do not invest per the advice. Use someone you meet solely online. Verify the validity of any investment opportunity from stranger or long lost contacts on social media websites. How? This is such useless fucking advice. This drives me crazy. Right? It's like, oh man, they talk about phishing stuff and they're like, hover over the link and make sure it's valid. It's like, how? You're talking about people that are falling for this stuff. They don't have the skill set or knowledge to verify the validity of an investment opportunity. They've gone that fucking far. You know what I mean? Cybercoin to the moon, low level. Let me know where to sign on the dotted line. Everyone go follow low level. He's better at me than in everything, in every way. Misspelled URLs often. Again, you're not like, if people are this far in the scam, A, they've never read this list. B, they do not have the skills to do any of this stuff. Be on the lookout for names that impersonate. If you think that they could do that, they wouldn't have gotten that far. Do not download suspicious looking apps. What is a suspicious looking app? Unless you can verify the legitimacy of the app. How can you? How can someone that knows nothing about this spot an app as suspicious or verify the legitimacy of it? Yeah, you're typo squatting npm. I mean, yeah, like, I mean, this is like, yeah, obviously, right? Just, you know, if someone comes to you and is like, oh, well, we'll give you 50% return guaranteed, I'll match your investment. I mean, they're just obviously scamming you, but you're hitting vulnerable people at a vulnerable time, right? You're hitting the right people at the right time with the right script, and they're just toast. Like, none of this matters. Do not pay additional fees. Do not pay for services that claim to recover lost funds. Yeah. I mean, it's just such a fucking useless list of tips. Sorry, I'm so mad. What report were we reading? It was like a Microsoft report that we were reading about like AI poisoning, and it was like, hover over the link and don't click on suspicious links. I'm like, this is dumb. This is dumb. It's been how many years of links on the internet have we ever successfully trained anybody to not click something because it was suspicious? It just doesn't happen. Educate, educate, educate. I guess I just I honestly think this is on the financial institutions to catch, right? And I mean, crypto is just unregulated hellscape, right? All right. Ransomware. Wait, what was the other bottom part here? Account takeover, gold courier scams. I'm not super familiar with gold courier scams. Use of couriers to retrieve cash and precious metals from victims of tech support? How is that jump? So they instruct victims to liquidate assets into cash or buy precious metals. Scammers pose as tech support or U.S. government officials. Scammers sometimes use multi-layered approach. Scammers inform victims their financial accounts were hacked or are at risk of being hacked. As a result, their funds need to be protected. Scammers instruct victims to liquidate their assets into cash or gold, silver. Sometimes scammers instruct the victims to wire funds to a metal dealer who will ship precious metals to the victim's home. Jesus. You're so far gone, right? If you fell for it so hard that you think that tech support is legitimately going to tell you to go buy gold, that sucks, man. Scammers use couriers to retrieve cash and or precious metals. Once victims obtain the precious metals, the scammers send couriers to retrieve the items at the victim's home. Scammers may direct victims to authenticate the transaction with the courier using a passcode. Scammers tell victims they will safeguard the assets in a protected account on behalf of the victims. In reality, the victims never hear back from the scammers and lose all their money. Oh, gosh. This is just a depressing ass thing to read about. Investment club scams. I want to read about this too. Fraudsters target U.S. stock investors through investment clubs. Oh, gosh, guys. I'm exhausted. All right. U.S. stock investors through social media platforms and Telegram is what this is, messaging service application. This is Telegram. The scheme known as Ramp and Dump targets U.S. investors through online engagement, often via social media advertisements or messages promoting an investment club. These promotions typically direct victims to secure messaging apps where the group operates. To appear credible, perpetrators may impersonate legitimate brokerage firms or well-known stock analysts. They secretly control a large number of low-priced stocks and coordinate efforts to inflate its price by encouraging investment club members to purchase shares over a period of several weeks or months. Once the price is artificially elevated, the criminals sell off their share at a profit, leaving the unsuspecting investors with significant losses as the stock value collapses. Jeez. Again, teaching people to recognize this versus how is this possible? How are there people that can secretly control a large number of volume of a low price stock? So some penny stock that they just have a ton of, but somehow the price is still low? How'd they get a ton of it? Right? And then they coordinate efforts to inflate its price by encouraging the investment members to purchase shares over periods of several weeks. So they keep the price low, but they own a ton of it. And then they get the investment club to buy it, which drives the price up. And then they rug pull and sell it all. People know not how to see the warning signs and protect themselves. Totally. How can we prevent anyone from harming themselves if we don't increase the education of our citizens? Yeah. I mean, I think that's a lot of it. I think also just being in cybersecurity for 18 years, education has rarely stopping a lot of security breaches. And so we just need, like, why is this possible? Like, why is this possible? We need like systemic guardrails that make it really, really hard for people to do that. Unsolicited investment tips via accidental text messages, claims from well-known financial advisors, exclusive stock recommendations through these online clubs, pressure to act quickly. Oh my gosh. Depressing. Government impersonation. Yeah, I mean, this has been going on forever, right? Like, they call you, they say that you're the IRS and you got to pay your tax bill, is what that is. Cyber threats. So this isn't scams, this is threats. Botnet, data breach, malware, ransomware, and SIM swap. So these are hacks basically reported to the FBI. 63 new ransomware variants, 5 new variants a month, more than 1 new variant of ransomware a week. That's kind of staggering. The following ransomware variants were among these were most frequently reported. The loss amount reported to IC3 attributed to these variants is over 16 million of the total losses, half of the total losses reported. So ransomware is way less prevalent or generating of money. 32 million versus 8 billion. Not 8 billion. 8 billion was just seniors, right? 20 billion. 32 million versus 20 billion in scams. New ransomware group. Not necessarily new groups, just new variants. 32 million versus 20 billion is kind of insane. So this is the variants. These aren't groups, right? These are, like, honestly, like software. Yeah. Recommendations to protect against ransomware, like cybersecurity basics 101, right? A lot of this is super hard though. So a lot of this is super hard to like retrofit. So if you're, water plant number 3 in the middle of Pennsylvania and you didn't build this from the ground up, this is tough. Cyber threats to critical infrastructure. Yeah. Healthcare got absolutely pounded in 2025. We knew that. Manufacturing, you don't hear as much of. Financial services, IT, commercial, food, transportation. Energy, you do hear a bunch of, but it's actually not that big of a spike, huh? Just when it happens. And water, same thing. Data breaches in water plants get reported pretty heavily, but super small number, huh? But just like when it happens, that it's a big fire, huh? Physical threats now as well. Yeah, especially if you own crypto. If you like I own 0 crypto. I'm not a crypto guy. I think most of its use case is completely to facilitate scams. But a lot of these like public crypto people, or I've seen it happen to OnlyFans models who talk about that they make a bunch of money and so they put a bunch of it in crypto. Yeah, they've had these break-ins, right? Antivirus. Yeah, sort of. You kind of need to go beyond EDR, right? Because a lot of the times the entry point to these is, an ODay, social engineering, or just a vulnerability, right? That can probably get past EDR. So yeah, EDR is obviously useful, but defense in depth, you got to add layers. Non-critical sectors. Law firms. Huh? Makes sense. Financial fraud kill chain. So what is this? 3,900 incidents, 1 billion in attempted theft, 58% of it frozen before it was successful. Interesting. I didn't really know that was a whole thing. Time is of the essence. Immediately contact your financial institution and request a recall of funds along with any necessary indemnification documents. So they were able to freeze 360 different incidents when it was like an elder getting scammed by tech support. Probably they realized they fell for something, or a family member realized what was going on. I wonder if they have information about that time frame. So they say time is of the essence. Is it 6 hours? Is it 24 hours? You know what I mean? I would love information about that. Of the 3,900 kill chain incidents initiated, 642 incidents involving elders, 65 million in losses that would have happened. The kill chain process was able to assist in freezing 32 million, about half of those, before they went out. All right. This real estate stuff is crazy. I don't know if any of you have bought real estate in the last couple of years, but the amount of hoops that they make you jump through because of the amount of fraud that goes on is kind of insane. All right, positive impacts. In response to massive losses to the cryptocurrency investment scams, newly formed U.S. Attorney's District of Columbia Scam Center Strike Force. Jesus Christ. You got to take a big breath before you say the title of that. Combines the power and reach and resources of the U.S. attorneys with the Department of Justice and the FBI and the U.S. Secret Service to crack down and disrupt these schemes. All right. So what'd you do? What'd you do, Task Force, SEAL Team, Scam Center? Launched in January 2024. Surpassing 8,000 total victims notified and $500 million in savings to notified victims. So 3,700 people that were victims of cryptocurrency investment fraud were notified by this task force that they were victims. They didn't realize they were victims yet. Or 78% of them were unaware they were being scammed. What was the other 22%? What was the other 22%? They were aware that they were being scammed and they were still there? Or they figured it out at that point? That's funny. Call center fraud. This is the stuff. I mean, this stuff is just everywhere, right? Everywhere. Illegal call centers defraud thousands of victims each year. Do you guys watch the Scammer Payback YouTube channels? There's a few of them. It's like Kit Boga and Scammer Payback and what's the guy's name? John Browning or something like that. And they call these scam centers and they like hack them back and mess with them or waste their time. They're kind of fun. The FBI enabled approximately 175 arrests through 13 joint operations. The FBI and CBI have over 1,200 exchanges of information to support criminal investigations with more than 475 arrests across 27 joint operations. All right, so they're cracking down. Ransomware, black suit. August 2025, Department of Justice issued a press release highlighting coordinated actions taken to disrupt this group, which involved multiple domestic and foreign law enforcement partners. North Korea. What are you saying is your success against North Korea? Dispatch thousands of individuals around the globe with the aim of deceiving the U.S. and other. The FBI observed these IT workers. What's the positive impact? Oh, they just let the companies know that they hired North Korean spies? I guess that's a positive impact if they didn't know that it was happening. Oh, it's not just U.S., huh? $1.6 billion of the 20 billion losses were from other countries. Why? I mean, scratching my head. How could other countries, or why would they report? I guess the scam involved something in the U.S. or what? You know what I mean? Like, why would Like, if you're in Canada, why are you calling the FBI? I don't know. All right. 3-year complaint count. Yeah, I was hoping for this. So trends, right? So BEC went up a bunch. Botnet went up a bunch. Romance scams. Look at that. It's pretty flat. Boom. I knew that was exploding. I could just tell from my freaking DMs. Why is this a star? Why is that a star? Not captured. We don't have data about crimes against children in 2025. Why would we have stopped collecting that? SIM swaps are actually going down. Interesting. I think maybe the telcos are getting wise to it. Maybe it's harder to pull those off. They've actually put some layers of defense in. Employment scams, we've seen a ton of these. So this is like, you think you're getting hired for a real job, you're getting hired for a fake job. Extortion has doubled. A lot of this extortion doesn't even involve ransomware or encryption, I mean. We're actually seeing like a trend where they don't even bother doing the whole encryption thing. Like if they hack in, they just extort you without encrypting everything. They're like, yeah, whatever. We have all your information. If you would like us to not release it, pay us. Harassment and stalking has more than doubled. Identity theft has damn near doubled. Is this more things hitting the FBI, or is this stuff actually on the rise? Investment scams has not quite doubled, but close. Lottery sweepstakes increase. Malware has went down and then doubled from last year. Overpayment scams are going down. I'm guessing financial institutions got wise. Personal data breaches going up. Phishing and spoofing going way down. Whoa. That's interesting. You would think, I mean, phishing is not slowing down as far as I know in like the successful breaches. Tech support scams are still continuing to go up. And then like, I forget who said it in chat, Techstead, threats of violence skyrocketing. 3x since 2023. It's nuts. All right, 3-year complaint by loss. So BEC gained a little bit. Confidence scams, an extra 300 million in romance scams. Crazy how prevalent that is. I don't understand why we didn't collect crimes against children in 2025. That's ridiculous. Employment scams has gone from 70 million in losses to 362. Jeez. Extortion from 74 to 122. Investment has doubled. Investment scams have doubled. And this is crypto pretty much entirely. That's a booming industry. Crypto investment scams was like 80% of these losses has gone from 4 billion to 8 billion. Malware losses has gone from 1 million to 19 million. I wonder if there's a whale in there. You know what I mean? It was pretty flat. I wonder if there's a whale. Was the number of complaints did not significantly jump. So there's a whale in there. You know what I mean? Like there's one victim in there that lost $10 million or something crazy due to malware. That's nuts. So malware, probably info stealer, got creds to something that controls finances, right? California, I mean, this is just a population map, right? complaints by state. I mean, there's just a wealth distribution map and a population map. I mean, New York probably should be higher than Texas or Florida, right? So that is kind of interesting. It's not straight following population, but states by complaint count. Why is it 50? Oh, DC is in here. Excuse me, FBI. You said states. I'm just kidding. I guess congratulations to North Dakota. Wait, who else besides DC is? Oh, Puerto Rico. I was like, why is there 52? And I'm still seeing legitimate states. Yeah, DC and Puerto Rico aren't actually states. By loss amount. It's crazy, man. Those are big numbers. Yeah, per 100,000. So per 100,000, DC is just going bananas. That makes sense, right? Just the sheer quality of victim. California falls way down, huh? So that's just straight population up there. Alaska, Nevada. Oh man, I wonder if Nevada has something to do with like Vegas and crypto scams. Alaska's kind of surprising. Loss per 100,000. Yeah, California still has a ton of money to lose, which is why. Yeah, I wonder. Nevada's batting way above its weight. I wonder why. Fucking DC, it's crazy. All right, I like this too. Sorry we're diving through this. I find these kinds of reports fascinating. So romance scams skew heavily towards 50, 59. Why do they not do the 60 plus? Do they have a whole section about elders below? Maybe. BEC is going to be, that's business, right? So you're talking, people in businesses. So it's going to skew older. Botnet, credit fraud, data breaches. Again, businesses are going to skew right in there. Extortion is pretty evenly distributed. Oh, but it includes sextortion, which is going to skew younger. Government impersonation is the IRS scam type stuff. Skews way older. Stalking right in the middle. So this is probably like relationship stuff. So you got divorced or you're dating or whatever. So you're gonna get this bulk in your like dating range or marriage or divorce range. Identity theft, investment. So crypto investments skews that high. That's wild. All right. So this is FOMO, right? This is like old people or older people that have heard about all the money being made in crypto and don't know enough about it. And so they believe what's going on, right? You're 20, 21. A, you don't have enough money down here. But B, you probably know enough about crypto because you were, born into it. Lottery sweepstakes. Whoa, skews way old. Malware is pretty normal distribution. Phishing and spoofing is normal distribution. Real estate, obviously, much more evenly distributed than I would have thought once you're of real estate buying age. You would think that would skew older, right? To have money to actually do the real estate stuff. SIM swapping spikes in your 40s. Sorry, this stuff is super fascinating to me. The money's just going to be to the age that you have money, right? Yeah. Oh man, it's just the elderly. 50, 59 isn't elderly, but I guarantee that 60 plus is even bigger than that. They're just getting slammed with these romance scams. 17 years or younger. It's going to be extortion, right? These are transaction types. Money order? How can a kid do a money order? Yeah, this group is the group that is talked about in that PAX presentation that I was talking about. This group is really big on, see, here you go. Trying to get people to engage in self-harm, animal cruelty, and suicidal acts. Yeah. That group does some gnarly stuff. Yeah, extortion, obviously. So this is like sextortion of children is the most prevalent for obvious, disgusting reasons. Harassment, stalking, that makes sense. Personal data breach, they hacked them and stole funds out of their Venmo or PayPal or whatever it is, right? Only one SIM swap for a kid that old? It's wild. I wonder why. One is really small. Crypto. All right, 17 or younger by a loss. They just don't have the money, right? They're kids. So that's 5,200 people, 4 million. I mean, it's, hundreds of dollars. There is a lot of news. Are you guys bored of this? Sorry, am I putting you guys to sleep? This stuff is super fascinating. It's real data, right? This is what we're protecting against. AI used in cybercrime. There's a ton of news. I'm going to be live for like 2 more hours. All right, we can speed through some of this. What is AI? What do we mean AI used? AI used in BEC, chat generators can quickly create official sounding emails mimicking the company's CEO. These emails can contain phishing links or directions to wire forward voice cloning. There are multiple BEC tactics, not all AI enabled. The romance scams are huge on the AI because a lot of that stuff's not coming from the US, so they're using it to speak English. Employment, the use of voice spoofing or potentially voice deepfakes during online interviews. And investment scams. Use AI to enhance their conversation with the potential victim. Yeah. All right. Okay, here's the whole section about Elder. They have a whole section because it's just the most prevalent, right? 59% jump from 2024 in amount lost in 2025 to the elderly. Complaints 60 plus, phishing, spoofing, tech support, and romance scams is down here. Oh man. 3 billion in crypto investment scams, or pretty much mostly crypto, right? It's wild. All right, this is what I was looking for. Okay, so they put a whole chart, a 3-year comparison just for 60 plus. I was actually super interested in this. Yeah. Not quite a doubling in confidence romance, but it's close. Big increase. What's really increased? IRS stuff. That's more than doubled. Harassment and stalking is more than doubled. Investment scams has more than doubled. Malware way up. Whoa. That seems like that just seems like a discrepancy, right? Phishing and spoofing going from 2,800 phishing and spoofing stuff to 48,000 in 2 years. Is that an actual increase, or like were we really undercounting for some reason back then? You know what I mean? Like that's huge. That feels like not actually what it is. Right? Everything else kind of like goes up whatever. That's like a massive, massive jump from here to here. 10x. A 10x jump in 1 year and then a doubling. It's kind of crazy. SIM swapping, tech support scams. Everything else is just up. Threats of violence doubled. Crypto doubled those years, and then like another 10,000. Jeez. All right. This is we're pretty much towards the end here. Now we're just getting into the whole section just based on them. There's a whole section just on crypto. All right. Now we're just slicing and dicing the data that we've already kind of gone through. And a lot of it just looks the same. All right. Super interesting data to me. I think what I want to do, I want to take some time when I write about that for the newsletter this week. I think I want to take some time to find some of those trends from 2023 on and try to like explain like why the trend was going that direction. You know what I mean? Like that one just feels off, like the 48,000 phishing, but some of the other stuff, I mean, we can probably explain why some stuff is going down, why some stuff is doubling. What up, Bill? Did you guys see that Mila Jokovic, the actress, like launched like an AI memory project called Mem Palace? I saw it getting texted around. Mila Jovovich, like from the Fifth Element, right? She like launched some AI memory thing. I saw it getting passed around a ton in some group chats earlier. And now I'm just seeing this thread saying that it's debunked. Mem Palace reports retrieval. The other report end-to-end QA accuracy. Those numbers measure completely different things. I don't really know. This also just seems like kind of a random Twitter. Yeah, this is like a random nothing Twitter account. And this is probably AI generated. I don't know. I'm gonna wait to see what real people and not a random Twitter account says about it. What are we going to talk about next? So this Medusa bit, I kind of put a bunch of stories in the title that I had queued up, right? So Medusa Ransomware is kind of going nuts. Microsoft uses different names that I always forget. Who's this? Oops, sorry. China financially motivated. Okay. It's a China-based threat actor. I thought I read it was Russia. All right, so this is interesting because a lot of China-based threat actors are not financially motivated, right? They're very nation state, very espionage. So if we're talking cybercrime out of China, this is pretty novel. Not novel, but just like different than a lot of the China stuff that we talk about, right? So they're saying that Storm 1175 high-velocity ransomware campaigns weaponize end days, targeting vulnerable web-facing systems during the window between vulnerability disclosure and widespread patch adoption. They move from initial access to data exfiltration and deployment of Medusa Ransomware. This is it's an important threat intel report to read, basically. I'm going to I'll dump the link in chat. There's the link that I'm reading. This is good threat intel to pass around. They're using end day vulnerabilities. End day means not 0 day, right? So 0 day would mean when the thing launches. Well, I guess end does include 0, but it's like less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to 0 day before patch comes out is what they're talking about. So they're talking about a bunch of different vulnerabilities that wind up getting used in the last couple of years that that they've used to deploy ransomware. That's like what they do. They chain together exploits to enable post-compromise activity like remote code execution. Oh, so this is like a profile of this threat actor going back a few years. It's interesting, but I think that they are highly active like right now. Right? Yeah. Yeah. 2026 CVEs. At least 3 0-day vulnerabilities, including most recently this one in Smarter Mail, which exploited by Storm the week prior to public disclosure. That's crazy. A Go Anywhere managed file transfer vulnerability exploited 1 week before public disclosure. And these more recent attacks demonstrate an evolved development capability or new access to resource like exploit brokers. Yeah, because if they were publicly exploiting before public disclosure, that means they got the vuln somewhere, right? Help facilitate subsequent 0-day exploitation activity, who still primarily larges end-day vulnerabilities, regardless, as attackers increasingly become more adept at identifying new vulnerabilities. Okay. Some of these Microsoft things are just like, they just go right into AI speak, right? Some of it you could tell a human wrote, and then it's just like, and by the way, Microsoft Defender M- is essential to defending against perimeter network attacks. And it's like, come on. Like, this is a good report full of good data. Like, come on. Keep it up. During exploitation, Storm typically creates a web shell or drops a remote access payload to establish the initial hold in the environment. From this point, Microsoft Threat Intel has observed Storm moving from initial access to ransomware deployment in as little as 1 day. Yeah. Stuff is fast, though many of the actors' attacks have occurred over a period of 5 to 6 days. All right. Can we see this? So initial access, create a new user in admin group, create web shell or deliver remote management tool during exploitation, use of lol bins to run discovery commands, lateral movement, use Cloudflare tunnels to move laterally over RDP. That's really cool. Mimikatz for credentials, defensive evasion, AV tampering, use your PowerShell and registry modification, and deletes created accounts to remove evidence from logs. The impact, can you guys see it? No, it's kind of behind my head. Medusa Ransomware distributed using PDQ deployer or group policy update, and that's where things get gnarly. So that's all the way on the right over there. Create a new user. So this is like an actual log line of like what they did. They use the privileges to modify the Windows firewall policy to enable a remote desktop. Heavy reliance on remote monitoring management tools during post-compromise activity. AnyDesk I've heard a ton of. And ConnectWise. I've heard these two used a ton. While often used by enterprise IT teams, these RMM tools have multi-pronged functionality that could allow adversaries to maintain persistence. Yeah, this is, I mean, since they've existed, right? Relies on PDQ deployer, a legitimate software deployment tool that lets system admins silently install applications for lateral movement and payload. So that's what they use to get Medusa out. Credentials theft is pretty obvious. I want to, why are we so heavily focusing on Medusa in the title here? Medusa offers a leak site to facilitate double extortion operations to its affiliates. Attackers not only encrypt data, but steal the data and hold it for ransom, threatening to leak files publicly. To that aim, Storm often uses Banzip to collect files and rclone for data exfiltration. Data synchronization tools like rclone allow the threat actors to easily transfer large volumes of data to remote attacker-owned cloud resources. Having gained sufficient access through the network, leverages PDQ to launch a script and deliver Medusa ransomware payloads. Alternatively, use privilege access to create group policy update to broadly deploy the ransomware. Interesting. And some detections. All right. These are IOCs even as, these are like 2026 IOCs too. Simple Help C2. That's the RMM. I thought this was juicier than it was when I first looked at it. I'm going to be honest. It's just kind of an overview of a threat actor. I would have liked some more data. All right. Census put out this bit of research. This is a good one. What is Comfy UI? You guys know what Comfy UI is? It sounds familiar, but it's not coming immediately to memory. Is this the same Comfy UI? Oh yeah, it is. All right. So this Comfy UI tool, it's like a wrapper around some AI like image and video generation stuff, right? Is that what it is? Full control with nodes. A futuristic humanoid character wearing stylized fox or fennec mask. And it generates this. Yeah. Okay. So it's like... Yeah. All right. So it's like a wrapper on this. Well, guess what? Turn Comfy UI servers into crypto mining proxy botnet. Internet exposed Comfy UI instances where attackers exploit the custom node ecosystem to achieve remote code execution. Over 1,000 are currently visible on the internet. It's kind of nuts for just this little project. Like, why is this stuff on the internet that big? And then they go straight crypto mining. It's a graphical node-based interface for running stable diffusion and other AI image generation models, widely used in the AI art community. Shade. Art. Quote unquote. From an attacker's perspective, this makes it an attractive target. The same GPU used for image generation can be repurposed for cryptocurrency mining. Many of these deployments run on cloud-rented infrastructure and are frequently exposed to the internet without authentication. If we filter out honeypots from Census for Comfy UI, because there's a lot of Comfy UI honeypots, what? Why? The same GPUs used for image generation can be repurposed for cryptocurrency. Got it. That's why. Why is there so many honeypots? That's so funny. Relatively small but high value attack surface. The next question is how the attacker identifies and tracks these targets. This is good research. I wonder how they found this. I wonder why there's so many honeypots for this if it's such a small project. You know what I mean? Yeah, how do they get RCE? It functions as a scanner and exploitation framework. Once a Comfy UI instance is identified, the tool immediately attempts to execute attacker-controlled code. This is made possible by Comfy UI's custom node ecosystem. Comfy nodes are simply Python classes that extend the editor's functionality. But some nodes accept raw Python. Yeah, it's just RCE as a service. Of course the nodes accept raw Python code as input directly and execute it. While this might be reasonable for local use, maybe, exposing this functionality to the internet without authentication effectively turns the service into remote code. Yeah. You know how like there's that whole bit of science that like evolution keeps producing crabs? Like all evolution is pointed towards crustaceans for some reason. That's my opinion about remote code execution as a service. I feel like everyone at some point winds up developing so many teams that I've worked with have like all of a sudden gotten the idea that they would like to give their users the ability to execute the code that they just give them. all roads point towards RCE as a service. So yeah, I mean, this is just duh, right? It's just like you have Comfy UI exposed on the internet. You can give it Python code. It has access to GPUs. I mean, yeah, it seems pretty advanced, but it's just getting a Monero miner on there, and all the other tricks are probably persistence related. Yep. Writes a fake custom node, a init pi. It registers Comfy UI's node list as GPU performance monitor. Module load, however, before the class definition, it spawns a daemon thread and re-downloads, re-executes every 6 hours. We were able to recover and analyze the attacker's shell history. It provides insight into additional infrastructure used by this operator. That's really good research. All right, this is a good report. Like they said, kind of a small attack, but juicy for sure. What else? I had this one. I keep making the joke that Fortinet is a 0-day company with a firewall side hustle. Was this the UK? Fortinet emergency patch, endpoint management tool, 0-day, 9.8. Came out right into Kev. Fortinet said Saturday that it's been seen, the vulnerability being actively exploited in the wild. Security vendor did not say when the earliest known exploit occurred. Unknown attackers were first observed attempting to exploit the vulnerability in March. Watchtower saw it. Exploitation attempts and probes were initially limited, reflecting typical attacker. April 6th, which was this weekend, given attention to Fortinet issuing a hotfix, exploitation is ramped up, including growing attacker interest and likely broader targeting. Yeah. I saw, best time to apply the hotfix was yesterday. Otherwise, right now. Yeah, get to patching on that. But I saw UK warns Fortinet hack or something. Let's Google news. I thought the UK had seen something more than what we just read. Hold on. I got a DM about this. Let me pull up my DMs. Let me find the DM. Yeah, what is this? It is this vulnerability. Hold on. What? Why can't I find this news story? NHS England cyber alert Fortinet. No. This was today. Why can't I find it? Why do I have an Instagram post that is more accurate than I can find? Hold on. This is so annoying. Because I think NHS, yeah. Why couldn't I Google this, man? This is so stupid. All right. So hackers can take control of networks. NHS England has issued a high severity cyber alert warning that critical 0-day vulnerability in Fortinet. This is the vulnerability we were just talking about. If the NHS is out here talking about it, I want to say that the agency said it was almost certain there would be further exploitation in the immediate future. The flaw we know about the flaw. Yeah. Literally this weekend, they're sounding the alarms. Fortinet assigns it a 9.1 out of 10. Tenable calls it a 9.8, reflecting the fact that the attack can be carried out remotely. Yeah. Bad. Bad. Known exploited catalog as of April 6th, which I think was Saturday, just a few days ago. They have federal agencies have until April 9th to remediate it. No threat group has been publicly identified. Likely to be attractive to both ransomware operators and espionage actors because compromise of an EMS server can provide a path to multiple managed endpoints. So who remembers the Striker vulnerability that we just talked about, where someone compromised Intune, which is endpoint management software, and they just compromised it by compromising the admin. But here you go. Like, this is the same thing, but with a vulnerability. So if Fortinet is running this endpoint management software and it has remotely exploitable code, I mean, this is just going to be gnarly, right? All right. So I thought that the UK had said that they had seen successful hacks from it. It seems like that's just their version of CISA saying, you know, hey, you have a few days to update. All right, let me close that. And of course, I teased it earlier, but this isn't good, right? So we're on the same page. CISA is not like the agency that makes sure that like nothing in the country gets hacked, right? A lot of times we see like the FBI got compromised or whatever, and it's like, oh, and we're gutting CISA. It's like CISA isn't that wasn't necessarily their responsibility, right? Each of the agencies have their security departments. CISA is a bit of a centralized security kind of node, but like this is still directionally significant, right? That as security becomes a bigger and bigger concern, or should be becoming a bigger and bigger concern, the fact that CISA like funding is just keep getting slashed is not a good thing, right? This already took a big hit in Trump's first year. Trump's fiscal 2027 budget would slash CISA another $707 million. Another budget document suggests a smaller but still substantial hit of $631 million. At the time the budget was prepared for 2026, appropriations bill for the Department of Homeland Security was not enacted. Oh, okay. So this is the like ICE shutdown thing was a lag. By either measurement, the proposed budget would cut deeply into an agency that started the Trump administration at $3 billion and would be substantially below that if Congress enacts this blueprint, would end up with slightly more than $2 billion in discretionary funding. So a third. 2027 budget summary recycles identical language from the 2026 budget. So they use the same language to cut it by nearly another billion, right? 700 something million. The budget refocuses CISA on its core mission, federal network defense and enhancing the security and resilience of critical infrastructure while eliminating the weaponization and waste. What do they mean? It makes reference to getting rid of things that have already been cut, like external engagement offices such as council management, stakeholder engagement, and international affairs. Talks about ending programs focused on censorship, something CISA under Biden administration said it never had, and on so-called misinformation, which CISA said it ended during the former president's term. What? So I think a lot of this is that CISA came out and said that the election wasn't hacked, and like Trump is just like, nah, F that, the election was hacked, which is just the craziest shit ever, right? Like the president's cyber strategy, the president's CISA budget reflects his utter lack of understanding of the urgency of cyber threats we face and how to mobilize the government to help confront them. As of 2023, CISA was spending $2 million on countering information operations, an effort initially launched at the behest of congressional Republicans during the first congressional information. There's nothing that justifies a reckless $700 million cut to CISA, particularly at the time of heightened tensions with Iran and increasingly aggressive China. I'm committed to working with my colleagues to push back against these cuts. Just toothless too, right? Like, congrats, you're committed to working with your colleagues to push back against these cuts. Like, fucking do something, man. We're going to send a strongly worded letter and push back against these cuts. Just like, I wish that someone would do something about this, says the people in power to do something about this. I'm tired. I'm tired. All right, what else should we talk about? That is what I pulled up. That's what I pulled up for today. We got a ransomware boss that got attacked. I've seen so many headlines about this Rowhammer thing, this GPU thing. It's not a very crazy thing. I think it got awarded like a $600 bounty. But I've seen a bunch of articles being written about it. Man, some vulnerabilities get like a ton of PR. Drift. Yeah, let's read this one. This one was crazy, right? This 280 million crypto theft was a 6-month long op. They say it on Twitter. Oh yeah. Did you guys read this? This is nuts. We got to chat about this. I talked a little bit about it. The attack occurred on April 1st. More details can now be shared about the attack vector, how this op was staged. Drift is sharing this publicly because other teams in the ecosystem deserve to understand what this attack actually looked like. All remaining protocol functions have been frozen and the compromised wallets have been removed from the multi-sig. Attacker wallets have been flagged across exchanges and bridge operations. Mandiant's been engaged. 6 months in the making, the preliminary investigation shows that Drift experienced a structured intelligence operation, required organizational backing, significant resources, and months of deliberate preparation. Fall 2025, Drift contributors were approached by a group of individuals at a major crypto conference in person who presented as a quant trading firm looking to integrate on the protocol. It's now understood that this appears to have been a targeted approach where the individuals from this group continued to deliberately seek out and engage specific Drift contributors in person at multiple major industry events, conferences in multiple countries over the following 6 months. They were technically fluent, had verifiable professional backgrounds, and were familiar with how Drift operated. A Telegram group was established upon the first meeting, and what followed were months of substantive conversations around trading strategies and potential vault integrations. These interactions are typical of how trading firms interact and onboard with Drift. I don't know enough about crypto exchanges or anything like this. So I don't know anything about what he's talking about. The December 2025 through 26, they onboarded an ecosystem vault on Drift, which required filing out of a form with strategy details. They engaged multiple contributors through multiple working sessions, asked detailed and informed product questions, and deposited over $1 million of their own capital. They built a functioning operational presence inside the Drift ecosystem deliberately and patiently. Integration conversations continued through February and March. Various Drift contributors met the individuals from this group, again, face-to-face. By this point, the relationship was nearly half a year old. These were not strangers. They were people Drift contributors had worked with and met in person. Throughout all of this, links were shared for projects, tools, and apps they claimed to be building, which were standard practice for trading firms. After the exploit on April 1st happened, a thorough forensics review of the known affected devices, accounts, and communications histories was conducted. Interactions with the trading group came into focus as the likely intrusion vector. Right as the exploit happened, their Telegram chats and malicious software had been completely scrubbed. Whoa. The investigation is ongoing and these findings are preliminary, but the interest of providing community with the best available information. Potential mechanism of the infiltration. We believe that there may have been 3 attack vectors. One contributor may have been compromised after cloning a code repo shared in the group. So this is what they do, right? This is very similar to how they hack like job interview type stuff, right? Where they'll share some code in a code repo, you'll clone it, and like somewhere in that repo, it's actual malware. But this is like after months and months and months of trust building. So instead of the trust of like a job interview, which is how they do that, it's trust of like, hey, we're all working together for months. You know me. Check out this project that I built. A second contributor was induced to download a test flight app the group presented as their wallet product. Okay, so this is like basically sideloading in iOS with test flight. It's not quite sideloading, but close for iOS. For the repository-based vector, one possibility is a known VS Code and cursor vulnerability that the security community was actively flagging through December. Simply opening a file folder or repo in the editor was sufficient to silently execute arbitrary code. So there was a VS Code and cursor code execution vulnerability with no prompt or indication that the user clicks. The full technical details can be found here. I think we've talked about this phone. North Korea abusing VS Code hooks that run automatically in the background as you open a folder. If you click here, the task.json file will execute and you're wrecked. Task.json, a fake font with malicious obfuscated JS code. So it's labeled as a font. Hidden execution. Reveal never. Does not show the terminal. Echo false. Does not display the commands being read. Holy shit. Runs immediately when you open the project in VS Code 0. Holy shit. That's huge, right? With medium-high confidence supported by investigations done by SEAL's 911 team, this operation is assessed to have been carried out by the same threat actors responsible for the October 2024 Radiant Capital hack attributed to North Korea. Citrine Street. Yeah. The basis for this connection is both on-chain fund flows used to stage and test this operation trace back to the Radiant attackers, and operational personas deployed across this campaign have been identifiable overlaps with the known North Korean activity. It's important to note that the individuals who appeared in person were not North Korean nationals. North Korean threat actors operating at this level are known to deploy third-party intermediaries to conduct face-to-face relationship building. Holy shit. Mandian has not formally attributed this drift exploit. This determination requires completed forensics, which are underway. Wow. Wow. That's wild. That's wild. Do you guys know much about this? I mean, why is there so much trade perps on Solana? I don't know what trade perps are. Deep liquidity, multi-asset collateral yield. High performance, deep liquidity, multi-asset collateral. I don't really understand. I'm not a crypto person. So I don't really understand. Like, would you be using Sol Perp? Like what is it? Like, I don't understand, right? Like I get like Coinbase and wallets and shit like this. Like what is this? I don't know. I literally am too dumb to even understand what the hell this is and why you would be using Drift. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't understand. Like I don't even know these words. You know what I mean? Like what the hell is a trade perp on Solana? I think I've heard of Solana as a coin. You know what I mean? Yeah, recruiter job offer is what you expected, which just it smells like that for sure. Thanks, TechStead. Drift Protocol is a leading decentralized derivatives exchange on the Solana blockchain that offers a high performance trading experience similar to centralized exchanges while maintaining self custody. Primarily chosen for its speed, minimal fees, and hybrid liquidity model that enables advanced trading features such as perpetual features. That's perps. I don't know what that. Oh, futures. I don't know what that means. Spots and prediction markets. I mean, just sounds like degenerate shit, right? Oh, I got to get to that. That's another one. I mean, this just says what that says. Yeah, all Drift protocol functions remain frozen. Compromised wallets have been removed from the multi-sig process, whatever the fuck the multi-sig process is. Man, I don't know. Like, I just don't touch this world at all. Yeah, Roman, I'm right there with you. It's just, like I said, it seems like gambling degenerate shit. You're not investing in anything, you know? It's just like you're investing in, you're just investing against other people's like vote whether or not stuff will go up, down. You know what I mean? Perps is short for perpetual futures. They are a type of derivative that allows you to speculate on the price of cryptocurrency without actually owning the underlying coins. This is what I'm saying. So the underlying coins don't even actually have a value in real life, right? Theoretically, currency is backed by something, right? Stocks, I understand. You're owning a part of a value producing asset, right? You're buying part of a company. That company produces value. Like they sell something. And you're buying a part of the company that sells something. They produce value. Like crypto doesn't produce value, right? So you're like literally this whole, that's a very, very complex thing that we just looked at. And the whole point of it is to sit on top of a valueless asset, like at the end of the day, right? Sports betting is better and more fun. I publicly stated this week that if I'm watching a podcast or listening to something or anything and they do an advertisement for any of the betting platforms, that I'm never watching again. I think it's a scourge on society. I think we're going to look back on this time. I get nothing but like betting advertisements on social media. Like I am squarely in their demographic, right? And I do not gamble at all. And I think we're going to look back on this time and liken it to advertising cigarettes to children is what we're going to wind up doing. Yeah, it's literally cigarette commercials, right? Oh no. What is this? Sorry, I just got a threat intel ping. This ain't good. Oh, this isn't good. The last time that I saw a headline with cups in it, it was really not good. Unauthed RCE in cups. Cups is how you print in Linux or Unix type systems. Yeah, he chained together some cup stuff. Oh my gosh. Chainable into unauthenticated remote attacker, unprivileged RCE, root file override. This is really bad. Cup server to be reachable over the network and expose a shared PostScript queue. Okay. Should be a deliberate config choice. Okay, so probably not that bad. All right. There's no fix. Do not expose cups over the network. Yeah, right. So this is probably not actually that scary. Oh, man. I got really nervous there for a sec. All right. That's not that scary. That's good. I got real nervous. What else did I have open? Oh, did you guys see this? So this researcher just like, I haven't seen this in a while. This used to happen a lot in the early days, like before bug bounties. This used to happen a lot where we would just get like security research just dropped like raw. So like exploit code released for unpatched Windows privilege, escalation flaw privately to Microsoft allowing, dubbed Blue Hammer. The vulnerability was published by a security researcher discontent with how the response center handled the disclosure process. There's no official patch. There's no update to address it. The floor is considered a 0 day. He says, I'm not bluffing Microsoft. I'm doing it again. Unlike previous times, I'm not explaining how this works. Y'all geniuses can figure it out. Huge thanks to Microsoft leadership for making this possible. I'm just really wondering what the math was behind the decision. Like you knew this was going to happen and you still did whatever you did. Are you serious? Researcher noted that the proof of concept contained bugs, so some people couldn't get it to actually work. But he's just like, boom, here's an exploit. Yeah, there's like some demo, but a lot of people were trying to run it and couldn't get it to work. Yeah, they just gave some like whatever response. Despite Blue Hammer requiring a local attacker to exploit it, the risk poses is still significant as hackers can gain local access through a variety of vectors. And then it's privilege escalation. It's not the craziest thing. It's just funny that they were like, I'm not bluffing. Here, GitHub, exploit code. That's it. That's the whole post. Let's see. Let's see if people are laughing about this. How did I find it? I don't even know. Oh, yeah. Here. I'm not explaining how this works. Y'all geniuses can figure it out. Defender signature update. POC then abuses NTFS symlinks. Whatever. PSC credits Tom Gallagher. Oh man, that's just kind of funny. Oh, are you trying to drop a link and getting filtered out? That's probably what's happening. Let's try to find. What? AI agents found the vulns? His team of vulnerability hunting agents? Oh God, it brought me to LinkedIn. Spent some weekends self-orchestrating a team of agents for vuln hunting, both on proprietary and fine-tuned. They've been discovering a steady stream of vulnerabilities. 10 CVEs assigned. Damn. He got 10 CVEs assigned to his name and they're just agent stuff. Where's the cups one? I don't see it. No, this is yesterday. SpaceX security engineer said he was inspired by, yeah, that's what we read. It's the same vuln. AI is getting very good at finding vulnerabilities in code. Yeah, for sure. That's interesting. I'm going to dump this back into the threat intel. Thread where I found that to begin with. No, not delayed at all. You're good. All right. I think that was all the links that I had up. You guys want to switch to like reaction stream or something? I think that was all the news that I had. Drift thing. Fortinet we already talked about. Hackers exploit React to shell? Jeez. How's that still floating around? Oh, I'm just looking at. Just looking for any other news. Bum, 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 bum. No. Sorry, just checking all my feeds. Socket got really quiet after the burst last week. Kubernetes threats. No. Google threat intel. Oh yeah, this is a really good one. I meant to include this in my newsletter last week. Brickstorm Defender's Guide. So Brickstorm is like really underreported on, highly stealthy malware that I know that the teams that are finding it and that it went undetected for over a year. Like super stealthy malware attack out of China. And this is exactly how to stop it. We're not going to go through this live. I'll put you all to sleep. But this is a really, really good one. Every once in a while, Google Threat Intel puts out like how to protect against this hyper prevalent thing that we're seeing. Look how long this is. I'm still scrolling. So this is like your playbook to protect against it. Jesus. It's long, right? So written by one person. Way to go, Stuart. We need some passionate reacts. Hands-on head surprise space. Oh no. What up, Aries? How you doing? Yeah, we're not gonna do that, but it is really juicy stuff. All right, anything else? Ooh, Lazarus Group got caught on TV. That's interesting. Just like unmasking them. Oh, this is what I thought I was reading earlier. It's so funny. Remember we read that like China thing and I was like, I really thought it was Russia. Well, here it is. It was just a different router compromise thing instead of the Medusa stuff. Russian military compromising insecure home and small office internet equipment like routers. This is what I thought I was freaking reading earlier. How funny is that? Hold on. I just saw... Yeah. I mean, this is like traditional, super traditional. Where is it? Where's the picture? Give me the picture. Oh, they don't have it. It's just straight like they attack these routers and then people ignore the warnings, the TLS warnings. So it's just like, oh, yeah, continue. And then you're toast. Russian military intelligence actor Force Blizzard and subgroup have conducted large-scale exploitation of vulnerable SOHO routers to hijack DNS requests and facilitate the collection of network traffic. Yep. SOHO routers is kind of like the main thing that everyone needs to worry about right now. One of the main things. Compromise the router. User connects via compromised router, inherits malicious DNS. User device issues DNS request to malicious resolver. Resolver returns service IP. If actor conducts following attack in the middle. Device initiates TL connection with attacker in the middle. Spoofs it. User is prompted with a TLS error, but if user ignores error, TLS connection is completed. Yeah, so it's literally just people being like, yes, please let me through. The actor-controlled malicious infrastructure would then present an invalid TLS certificate to the victim. If the compromised user ignored warnings about the invalid TLS, the threat actor can then actively intercept underlying plain text traffic, including emails and other customer content. Yeah. So that's the bitch of it right there, that this is so, people just click yes through those TLS warnings. I remember back in the day when that shit used to pop up all the time on Internet Explorer, like the SSL warnings. They actually MRI'd people's brains while those warnings popped up, and like parts of people's brains actually turn off when you get those security warnings. And you're just like, get this out of my face. Is what goes down. All right, that's what I thought I was reading earlier. It's so funny, but I don't really want to go back to it now. All right, what's good? What do you guys want? What do you guys want to do? You want to do some Q&A? You want to react to something? John put out a new video about fake Windows notifications. Oh God. I open YouTube and it's just like Trump, 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 Trump. And I don't even watch political videos. What else? All right, let's see. Let's see. Primogen was talking about the Axios thing. I think some people still hadn't seen some of this, right?
How would you like to join a Teams call? And then by joining the Teams call, you get hacked by North Korea? Well, That's what happened with Axios. It would be kind of strange if you haven't heard about the Axios hack, because even the legend himself, the modern day poet, the real minstrel among us all, Fireship, did release a video, and I think he summed up the Axios hack best with the following.
Fireship is like the YouTube channel that scares me the most for like the future of what I'm trying to do for a living, because he's faceless. His videos are like 5 minutes long, tight scripted things. He could replace himself with AI at any moment and no one would ever notice. And he just like cleans up. He cleans up on YouTube. They're really good.
That improved developer experience just turned into non-consensual backdoor penetration by a Magnum-sized Trojan.
That man does not mince words. Before I tell you
just so fun. I mean, he's always so funny. Do you guys watch that Fireship channel? It's really good.
Exactly how Axios was hacked, let's just go over a quick couple details for those that aren't in the know. On March 31st, Axios was hacked. Effectively, what happened is that Jason ended up getting compromised. And then by being compromised, Axios published 2 new versions, 1.14.1 and 0.30.4, in which involved a new library called Plain Crypto.js, which just wraps crypto, but instead steals all the credentials and does just completely takes advantage of your computer. The malicious versions were live for about 3 hours, and you should go through and make sure you don't actually have these, just in case. If I were you, I'd probably just roll all my credentials everywhere, reset everything if you happen to be hit in this. Also kind of strange.
Well, this is what I said. I mean, I think it's also really hard to like even determine if you were hit in this, right? So I'd be hard pressed to not have been running an incident no matter what with this Axios thing. That's how prevalent it is. And it was by North Korea. So we don't really know what they stole, right? The cyber criminals came out and started using all this stuff right away. North Korea, a little bit more patient, figure out what they've got, actually use it, as we saw, 6 months to attack that drift bit, right?
Just throwing this out there as reviewing the summary. Right here, Victor just didn't like Jason telling everybody about what happened and how to fix things. Oh, Victor, that's kind of strange, don't you think? Victor, why are you disliking that? Well, yesterday, Jason actually gave an update on the situation and gave us the real details of what exactly happened to him. First, they reached out masquerading as a founder of a company. They had cloned the company's founder's likeness as well as the company itself. Second, they invited me to a real Slack.
This is North Korea again. So you guys got to realize this is happening basically at the same time as that drift thing. Like, we're seeing state-sponsored, highly sophisticated, highly persistent and patient level social engineering campaigns with people masquerading as other people. They're just establishing trust over such a long time frame, right? And they see Axios as like this, one of these cornerstones of the internet. It's in 100 million weekly downloads. It's just everywhere. And they're like, you know what? We're going to build trust with their maintainers and then spring the trap. I mean, this is just like, we're just seeing it over and over again right now.
Slack workspace. This workspace was branded to the company's CI and named in a plausible manner. The Slack was well thought out. They had channels where they were sharing LinkedIn posts. Yes. I love that. It's like, how do you know it's a real company? Oh, there's a channel dedicated to sharing LinkedIn posts. I guess, honestly, I don't think I've been a part of a real company then, because that sounds horrible. If I went into somebody's Slack and they're like, oh yeah, that's where we discuss the happenings of that very well-known and very well-respected network, LinkedIn. I'm like, brother.
For the record, Vulnerable Use Slack does not have a channel where we share all our LinkedIn posts. Proud to say.
I don't think I belong here. This isn't for me, whatever's happening here. They even had what I presumed were fake profiles of the team of the company, but also a number of OSS maintainers. So they just kind of set up this very elaborate environment for this one individual person to be hacked. They scheduled a meeting with me to connect. The meeting was on Microsoft Teams. That should be a red flag. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but meeting on Microsoft Teams, like I wouldn't even write on the internet that I joined a Microsoft Teams phone call. Okay, I would keep that to myself. I would hide that little piece of knowledge.
Every time that I get invited to an MS Teams call, I always like don't realize it until it's like time to join the meeting, and I don't have like Teams installed on my computer, so I always have to like join it through the browser or whatever. And I'm always late because it's like, wait, this has thrown me off completely. I join them very infrequently. This is weird. They don't work right out off the get, and I'm like always like 2 to 5 minutes late as I like figure out how to join the Teams call.
The meeting had what seems to be a group of people that were involved. The meeting said something on my system was out of date. I installed the missing item as I presumed it was something to do with Teams, and it was the rat. For those that don't know what a rat.
So this is what they're doing in the job interviews, right? So in the fake job interview land, they get you on the job interview. That's how they establish the trust. Right here, they're establishing trust via this fake company and Slack and LinkedIn and all this kind of stuff with like other actors in it. For the job interview one, you're just going to trust them because you're on a job interview. And then they're like, hey, your Zoom is broken or something. Something broke. You have to install this update for Zoom or Teams. and the website will pop up and be like, oh, update this in order to, and you're like in a hurry, you're in a job interview, you don't want to be late. Like the people can't hear you. They play along. They're like, hey, we can't hear you. We can't see you. Can you install the update? Right. They do have the same process for Zoom. I don't know about WebEx. This is the first time I've seen it for Teams. I've seen it for Zoom a bunch, right? This is what they do. So they're establishing, like, all the different techniques you're hearing about are just different techniques of establishing trust. And then at the end of the day, they're like actual cybersecurity techniques, like the 1-2 punch, the 2 punch, the right hook that comes in after all the jabs are very similar. Right? It's this GitHub repo. If you're in a job interview as a developer, they'll get you to install a malicious package. That sounds like what they did for the crypto people. It wasn't in a job interview. There was 6 months worth of trust building in person, all this kind of stuff. And then they got them to install a malicious dependency via a GitHub repo or a test flight app. That was new to me. So I don't know why they would have needed that. The test flight app, maybe to get different wallets connected via mobile or something like that. I don't know. But the right hook is very similar. It's all of this like staging and performance that you see that starts to differ per thing. And obviously the higher the value of the target, we're seeing now the more elaborate that the scam will be, right? So if you're just a crypto person interviewing for a job related to like a Web3 developer thing, they're just trying to steal your wallet, which might have, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars in it, right? If you're really flush, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they're stealing billions, right? So when it comes to this Axios thing or Drift, where they stole 280 million or whatever it is, it's like, okay, we're going to really turn up the charade. So it's not just a job interview, whatever, right? That's the low level stuff. Now we're talking like this kind of level of charade. Axios, 100 million weekly downloads. They're like, okay, we got this, right? We're going to set up this whole Slack and everything. The Drift thing that we talked about earlier. They met them in person over 6 months. They were working legitimately on projects together with them. They put $1 million of their real money into Drift. You know what I mean?
RAT is a RAT stands for Remote Access Trojans, or sometimes Remote Administration Tool. It is a type of malicious software that allows hackers to gain unauthorized, hidden, remote control over a target computer or device. In other words, they can see everything you do. They have access to every single file you create, and they're able to put anything they want or make your computer do any action. To be completely fair here, shameful enough as it sounds, if I ended up joining a Microsoft Teams call and then it was like, hey, something's out of date, you need to install a new driver, the chance of me being had, it could go up. It could definitely go up. The thing that makes this so difficult is that if you actually go and look at some of the screenshots, it looks just like Microsoft Teams, or it looks just like Zoom. And if you look at the web browser, if you're not even careful enough, that looks just like a Zoom link. If you're not familiar with a Zoom link, they typically look like something like this. There's some sort of region.web.zoom.us and then an ID right afterwards. Whereas this one right here is that kind of...
So my comments on this, I just posted I did a short about this Axios hack, right? When we saw the details come out. And the comments were filled with, look at the URL. Can you believe this guy fell for this? Yes, I can. Like, no, you don't look at the URL if you're like if the trust is deep enough, if you think you're just hopping on a call with some buddies that you've been working with for months, no, you don't check the URL. You don't. I don't care who you are, right? Unless something else smells off and nothing else smelt off, right? So no, I don't victim blame. My comments were filled with, if you fell for this, you deserved it. Bullshit. You'd have fallen for it too if you had 6 months worth of trust building with these people.
Same region, except for there's just no dot right here. So if you're just not even looking at it, it's a very simple mistake to realize you're not even on Zoom. The team one seems a little bit more obvious though. Microcell, there's definitely something going.
That's what they said. They were like, it's super obvious. Again, you just wouldn't look. I'm telling you wouldn't look. Guys, this is successful for a reason. This is a technical person, a maintainer of a hyper popular JavaScript payload, right? Dependency. Like a technical person didn't look. They didn't look. This is why I hate the fucking advice at the end of all these articles that are like, oh, if you just look at the URL, just hover over the link and look at the URL. It's useless advice. Our psychology does not allow for it with the enough trust built up. If you're just like, yeah, these people, I've been working with these people, whatever the hell it is. I'm in their Slack. I'm like reacting to their LinkedIn messages. We've been talking and working together for weeks or months. and I'm just hopping on a call with them. Like, get off your high horse and think that you would, like, yeah, it's obvious because we're looking at it post-mortem, knowing that a hack happened. We're like, yeah, look how fucking obvious that is. Duh, we're reading it post-hack. Like, we know that there's a hack, so we're looking for it. You wouldn't look for it.
On right there, that doesn't look real. I feel like I would not be had by this one. Again, Victor, you downvoted.
You would have. Sorry, Prime. You would have. Well, okay. So this group, I can't hear myself talk with these headphones on. I'm doing my prime impression is over. This group tried to get a bunch of other people, right? So Socket, the Faraz, the Socket founder, was targeted by them. Some other NPM maintainers came out and said they were targeted by the same group of people. And what smelt off to them was the Slack. They just didn't even join the Slack to begin with. The Slack invite looked weird, and they just were like, nah. So I don't know why this person felt the need to join the Slack or just didn't sniff it out at that point. But once you're in the Slack, of course, the trust just starts to snowball, right? A lot of people smelt it earlier than that. But if you're already in the Slack for weeks and you're just hanging out with these people and you just hop on a meeting, you're not going to look at the URL.
Voted again. Hey, Victor. Hey, Victor. Where were you on the evening of the infamous Teams call? Hey, I'm just asking questions here. Even the person that provided the screenshots right here, Victor also downvoted it. Strange, huh? What is going on, Victor? All this just goes to show how easy it is to be had, okay? I assume that Jason probably knows a thing or two about tech, probably doesn't get had by those simple text messages that's like, oh, your UPS package is late, bro. Hey, why don't you just click this link? Right? It takes a little bit more. I think I could have been easily fooled by having something that feels so set up, right? You go to a Slack. There's multiple people there. It has the company brand. It even has a LinkedIn section. Very unhinged as it is. It has other OSS maintainers. People are yapping. Oh my gosh, hey, we have a meeting. Which is also strange because one of the things apparently they do during this meeting is that instead of just like, hey, you should join this meeting, hey, you should join this meeting, they play it hard to get. Apparently they'll schedule the call for like a week out, and then they'll reschedule it for another week, being like, oh, hey, we can't do it right now. Could you do it even next week? They really just slow roll you. They age you like a fine bottle of wine. It's insane. Because 2 to 3 weeks, you think that they would be worried about getting caught, that you would kind of notice something's wrong with the Slack. But no, they let it go nice and slow because they really want to build up that rapport that what you're about to join is completely and absolutely above board. Which apparently with other people, they actually like step through and give them other instructions on how to potentially fix their problem. And then at some point be like, here, try this install script. and then bam, they get hacked. And this exact style of getting hacked apparently is identical effectively to this right here. The UNC 1069 targets cryptocurrency sector with new tooling and AI-enabled social engineering. This was just released a couple months ago by Google. Apparently what it is North Korean threat actors. And they're just using more and more sophisticated technology and the power of AI to be able to dupe people. And they will often use something that looks like this. Like, again, this looks just like the Zoom meeting. They just flip around the credentials, right? So it's like us05web.us and then have the Zoom on the other side and just make it so believable. And then the CSS is so well done. Hey, good job, AI. That's the power of AI, being able to clone out a UI. So that's what happened with Axios. So pour one out for Jason. And also Victor. Hey, yo, Victor? I feel like we got to know why you're so upset at everything, okay? What's going on? What are you hiding? Do you also happen to know of a nice Microsoft Teams link that I should join? Do you have a Slack organization that would be something that I could end up joining? I'm on to you, Victor. The name is the Primogen. Hey, do you want to learn how to code? Do you want to become a...
Man, he's just so good. Prime's great. Prime's great. All right, what did John talk about?
How often do you get notifications on your computer? You trust them, right? After all, it's your computer from applications you installed. So they wouldn't be malicious, would they? But what if a hacker could fake notifications? I'm gonna show you how. So I'm on my Windows 11 virtual machine, and I'm gonna open up the terminal to have access to PowerShell here, and I'm gonna try and query the Windows registry. That's available as a PS drive or PowerShell drive when we include the colon right after the hive, and I'll access HKCU or HKey current user. I'm gonna look into software and Microsoft Windows using tab complete to speed this up here, and I'm looking for notifications and their settings. This is where Microsoft Windows might register different applications that are able to send notifications. We can get a good list here, and you can see the Windows System Toast Startup app,
CS
Windows Defender, like
an
antivirus, Microsoft Edge, and a handful of others. I have Cursor installed, and maybe that's some cool AI shenanigans we could do. But it's not just in HKCU. Remember, HKCU for the current user is your active user, and that could be low privileges. You can make changes to that. You can modify it. But HKLM for HKey local machine does require administrative privileges. It's another location, though, where you might see other apps, things related to Skype, and we can kind of join these together. What I'm going to do is actually grab, with this all in its parentheses, just the PS or PowerShell child name, and I'll do the very same again for HKCU for our current user. So what if I faked an alert that looked like a regular, genuine Microsoft Windows Defender antivirus alert, saying, ooh, you have malware on your computer, or Microsoft Edge needs an update, it's mandatory you click a link, or Cursor says it's done with whatever AI turn you were working on. So let's write a script, and I'm gonna use the PowerShell ISE, or the integrated, what's that acronym? It's not IDE, scripting environment, right? And how about I create just a little playground to be able to work with this, like notifications in PowerShell. Now we do need a little bit of special sauce here. We're gonna have to add a type, or add in some C# like managed assembly capabilities. Let me specify the assembly name, and I know it's long long and verbose regular Windows stuff, but system runtime, Windows runtime. So we'll have access to like WinRT, the Windows runtime. Then you have some boilerplate stuff. Windows.UI.notifications, host notification manager. There's a whole lot more. I'm going to copy and paste because I cannot store that long boilerplate in my brain. I'll leave a link down below for us to be able to explore that a little bit more, but that is what we need for some scaffolding. Then we need to choose which application installed do we want to fake a notification from. Back in our PowerShell output, all of these that we saw from the command line are what are called AUMIDs, or Application User Model Identifiers. That's the unique ID that when
Yeah, but how do you get this on someone's machine?
Windows assigns to modern applications, so it knows what apps are able to work with notifications or be assigned inside of the start menu, what entries are associated, and how these toast or pop-up notifications can relate to applications. So if we're trying to put our hacker hat on, scheme up and plan how we could fake some notification with a little bit of prompt, so it's social engineering, lying to the end user, that way we could have a lure or a little deceit to have the user maybe willingly provide their password or credentials. Or they'll go to some website that looks believable because we told them, hey, you need to update. So I'm sure you could tell the way that we end up putting together these toast notifications is based off of XML, or the extensible markup language. We could define what sort of XML in a multi-line string we can use in PowerShell with the double quotes and @ sign surrounding them. Could we define a toast notification? I'll walk through the syntax here to create a visual indicator and what we'll display for our pop-up. But before I get into the important syntax, I think we gotta have a conversation because yeah, this could be some threat actor activity. This could be hacks. This could be anyone maybe taking advantage of your data. So before we go any further, let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video.
What? But like, I get it. You're making a believable looking pop-up, but like, how does it get on the
Let's add a little
machine?
bit of text here to say, little lie, Microsoft Edge requires an update. How about a critical security update? We should actually be able to supply 3 different lines of text. One being the top header, a little bit more information for us. We want some other actions. Maybe a button that'll open up a web page that we can control and have another
He's
credential
building a
harvester or
believable
malware
pop-up.
detonating
Sorry,
site. Maybe
John.
we
Don't
can
mean
have it run
to cut
path
forward.
code
This is
execution. You are
super
running
interesting. I'm just
locally
trying to
on the
like.
target of the victim computer. Let me keep playing though. Like I want to show you a couple other things you could do from here. You can customize this. Let's say like, hey, someone sent you a message and we could modify the hint style so that some of the text that you supply could actually look like a subtitle. Maybe you put this into Microsoft Teams or Slack, Discord, whatever. We can even add an image here. And you can have a lot of flexibility in where you can put different pictures or images in the toast notification. Like we could even override the application logo. We could add a sort of crop here to make it look like a circle surrounding it. So it's a regular person profile picture. And I have not yet played with if we could put the source in like a base64 embedded thing so it remains self-contained. But again, if you're working off the operation, oh, you own this machine already, or you've got local access, you could stage or put any other files you
Yeah. Okay. So there it is. So like you're executing code. You're just now trying to get their password or something like that. And so you're already able to just execute this, and now you're trying to do other nastiness. So you're tricking them.
want on there. Let me get nomsec as a good picture to use. We'll put him as ben.jpg. That's fine. Now back in our actions, we could actually put a little input field, like a text entry to look like, oh, we're sending a message right there and then. You can add an ID there if you want to keep track of it for any other display or formatting after the fact. Just kind of giving it a name. But then you could actually control whether this is just a text entry or even like a select dropdown. And we could have a placeholder there so it looks like an input. Remember, we should be closing out with our forward slashes. I almost missed it on that one just above. Now let's add an action. Let's do just another quick open the browser, but we could even add another hint now for an input. Tag onto this. But remember, you kind of need to have things situated with like a protocol. So if we wanted to get real code execution, part of me wonders if back in our PowerShell commands here, could I manipulate the registry? And I'm gonna use cmd.exe DOS commands with this. I know I should be using like PowerShell commandlets, but whatever. Let's say we could add something to HKCU, and we're not gonna include the colon because these are just regular CMD commands. HKCU is again your current user. So you have privileges and permissions to be able to write to this. So can we create our own kind of class here for a toast notification that we might want to create? Creating this thing if it doesn't exist, adding data for a URL handler. We can just say that is a new toast protocol that we create. Let's force the creation of that. Let's do the very same, specifying a value this time as not the like empty or beginning initial value, but we could say that is a URL protocol. It doesn't need any data set. Remember, your payload would need to stage setting up that custom protocol that you create. Can I do this? Will this work? F5. Did you wire the funds? Cat picture open. Do we get PowerShell?
Oh, cool. Okay.
Cool,
There's the example.
Let's change that to now be a protocol, and we can just say like open. Let's make the arguments be our specific new toast protocol. And we wanted maybe what? Open PowerShell was what we added support for. Oh, 2 forward slashes and open dash shell is what we want. So that those match. So that the handler knows how to handle the protocol handle that you create. Can I do this? Will this work? F5. Did you wire the funds? Cat picture open. Do we get PowerShell? That's kind of cool though. Now, obviously you can tweak and tune this, right? This is just the kind of proof of concept. Do we have the capability to run code and commands? There's Notepad. Remember, your payload would need to stage setting up that custom protocol handler, setting up this XML.
Interesting,
but
okay.
maybe you build this out to something kind of nifty. Maybe you fake it, make it look like Cursor. Maybe make it look like Discord or Slack or Teams or Adobe Acrobat Reader. You could fake notifications from any application you really want. I was thinking, maybe it would be a cool little project to put together sort of like a WYSIWYG interface. What you see is what you get. And you could just naturally create and look at XML for building out what you wanted from website. Big shout out to to those folks. This was kind of cool to even introduce me to a lot of some of this stuff. That provided a lot of the syntax, reference. I had a little, wanted to drill down into some of the DLLs that do actually get loaded or the video description.
Yeah, good job to the purple team. I don't have a lot to add there. I mean, that it's cool research. It's just you already have code execution, right? So it's just kind of fun, like ways that you could maybe trick to do other stuff. I'm a little bit more interested in like tricking people to get code execution, right? All right. What else? Anything else? You guys sometimes tell me about stuff that I haven't watched. All right. I have a confession. So you guys know how I went to PAX East and spoke there? I don't know, 2 weeks ago, right after RSA. Well, they ran a bunch of like Magic the Gathering tournaments that week, and I actually participated in one, and I won like a little mini draft one just against my friends, just 4 players, best of 3, and then winners best of 3. And then we like bought these commander decks, which is like apparently like another format of Magic the Gathering, like that I didn't really know about, but apparently has been popular for the last like 5 or 6 years. It's been around longer, but it really grew in popularity in like 2020. And then they Magic did this really interesting thing where they really brilliantly, for my millennial brain, started licensing intellectual property. Let's see if I can pull up some. So I don't know if you guys play Magic the Gathering, but so instead of like a 40 card deck and you start with 20 health, it's a 100 card deck. You could play. I didn't realize you were supposed to play with at least 3. I was playing 1-on-1, like whatever, right? There's like a commander card plus 99 cards. So there's like some slightly different rules, but I wanted to kind of show you. Let's see if I can find some commander decks. Yeah, look at the IP that they're talking about: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Avatar, Marvel, Final Fantasy. Coming soon, more Marvel and The Hobbit. So like, what's coming soon? Marvel commander decks. So just absolutely nerd sniping my millennial brain, right? Where I was looking, is this a commander deck? No. But I'm guessing there's going to be. The Hobbit. Oh my gosh. So there's Lord of the Rings commander decks. Oh, this comes out in August. That seems so far away. Aries, you were at PAX, right? That's how you found me? You had commander decks with me when we spoke at PAX. Didn't get a chance to play. My friend and I have been playing commander for years. Yeah, so I had never even heard of commander. I played Magic in like the 90s as a kid. And then I played again in college with a bunch of my roommates when we all kind of realized that we had decks at home from when we were kids. And so like we brought our decks to college. Like we were like went home one weekend, went to our parents' house, got a shoebox or whatever the hell we had full of decks, and we came back and we just started playing. And we played like on and off for years throughout college, just with my roommates. And I really haven't played since then, right? So it's been quite a while. And so the people that I was with at PAX, one of the guys that I was speaking with at PAX, and then he brought some of his friends. John, oh man, John, you blew my brain. Sorry. I was reacting to your video and I was like not doing a good job reacting because I didn't really understand what you were talking about at first. And then I got there. So sorry. I just kind of like slack-jawed watched your video. Everyone go follow John. He's better than me at everything. I was just watching your video from today. So super interesting about the pop-up. I liked the demo with Naham Sec. I must now bribe you for a future demo to use my avatar and channel so that I get some free promo on the John Hammond channel. So yeah, use me as your next victim in a demo. Great video, awesome stuff. I was just too dumb to follow parts of it. My biggest thing was like, wait, are you using these prompts, these like pop-ups to get initial access? And you weren't, right? So I was like, oh, why are you like spending all this time like coding these things to look good? If you can write all this code, you can do all this other stuff. But I got it towards the end, right? Like, you know, if you have some subset of current user type permissions, you can get them to like probably escalate privileges or do some, you know, type in a password or something like that, or run some other code. Super interesting. Now I'm talking about Magic the Gathering. Could you give some advice to people trying to network with like-minded people in the industry? Sure. Twitter. He's better than me at everything. That's what I say about whenever you and Low Level show up in my live. That's what I say. I'm like, go follow Low Level. He's better than me at everything. And yeah, it is true for you too. You guys are killing it. John, I have a question for you. I don't know how long you can hang out or if you even want to answer this question. You can DM me in Slack. We could talk about it later. The TBPN acquisition by OpenAI, did that wreck you? Like, I've been depressed since that has happened. Like, want to quit everything that I'm doing. And I would think that that would be amplified for you in particular. I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if it's on your radar. I don't know if you're mentally ill like I am. The TBPN hack has absolutely fucked me up. Like, atrociously. For those of you not in the know, TBPN started less than 2 years ago, podcast, live streaming 3 hours a day, kind of like me, kind of like John. 50,000 subs on YouTube, which is much more like me than like John. 4,000 to 6,000 views per live stream VOD. Right? So probably a little bit more than me. Maybe I get like 1,500 or so, right? Not to like, I'm not like comparing. I'm just kind of, if you guys don't track this stuff, I'm just giving you a measuring stick. They get acquired by OpenAI for published verifiably low hundreds of millions of dollars. So somewhere between 100 and $300 million is what people are saying. They shut down the ad business. So like they were making some money in ads over there for sure, but OpenAI shut down the ad business as per the acquisition. So they did not acquire it for the revenue, which was like $5 million, right? Oh, you're on a bit of delay. It's okay. Shutting down the ad business, so the revenue really doesn't matter, right? They were making about $5 million in ad revenue, which already seems wild to me, right? But they were doing a lot of like high profile ads during their live stream. I don't do any, right? So they had a lot of ad space to sell for sure. $300 million acquisition has absolutely just completely wrecked my life. Wrecked my life. As if summoned, our mutual friend Brian just texted me and he's like, how are you doing? As I'm on live talking about how fucking miserable I am. Anyway, John, you're on delay. You can react. I'm going to keep chatting. But Jesus Christ, in the US, you can write off investments when they don't expect revenue. No, so the theory is that OpenAI probably was going to have to build some of this themselves. They don't really have like a good communications stream. They kind of write blogs and Sam goes and does his interviews and shit like that. Everyone shows, John, you're here. All of a sudden chat shows up. McMedden and Coyote, what's up? Chat's been dead all day. I don't think I've even gotten my 100 message little achievement today. I blame John for everyone talking now. Matchmans and concise news coverage. Yeah, I don't have a good head of hair. That's why I wear the hat. Just in. No, I'm just messing with you guys. So, yeah, this has wrecked me. I was just talking about Magic the Gathering. John shows up, and I'm like, hey, you want to be depressed? Great applause for them. Didn't torpedo my headspace, but I suppose gives some sort of inspiration. Yeah, I guess. You see, you're not mentally ill like me. You're like, I'm optimistic. Look at this. Literally, Brian's texting me. Like, how are you doing? Yeah, I could look at that as like validation of that we're going in the right direction. I kind of look at it and go, are we even playing the same fucking game? You know what I mean? Like, are we even on the right fucking planet? Saw your tweets yesterday. Failed to reach out. Yeah, we can banter. So if you guys don't know what tweets John's talking about, I was in a weird space yesterday. The TBPN's part of it. If you guys want to peek behind the curtain, we'll give you a peek behind the curtain. Yeah, I was in a weird space yesterday morning. So I woke up to, you guys know what like 10 out of 10 is? Oh, Zach gave me some cool shit. Oh, I didn't even see all these people. Yeah, Twitter notifications are broke. I didn't even see these. So I woke up. If you guys don't know what 10 out of 10 means, it means like your recent metrics are the worst of your last 10 things, right? So my newsletter platform says that. YouTube gives you that, right? And so it's like, I upgraded a ton of equipment and I hired a bunch of help at the turn of the new year, right? So I've got editor, I've got new equipment, I've got social media managers that have been working with me for a while. I've got a writer helping me with my newsletter and some stuff, right? So I'm actually spending a ton of money to like increase the quality, quantity, everything of the content. And performance has just been like significantly worse. I'm still doing fine, right? Everything's fine. But man, it's just like when you put all this effort and money into the improvement, and you just don't see the juice on the squeeze, it's really easy to like burn out, you know? It's like super, super easy to just be like, what the fuck am I doing? Right. And then at the same time, some like other Silicon Valley darling podcast that's like comparable in size to me, like just walked away with $300 million. I'm like, what game am I playing? Right. You know what I mean? So this is not woe is me. This is not world's smallest violin. Just kind of expressing where I was at on a Monday morning to like wake up and you check some shit. And you're like, wow, what? Like I don't change anything about my newsletter. My newsletter title is the same every week. The subject is the same every week. My philosophy is I don't want to trick you to opening my newsletter. You're here or you're not. I don't want to like, there's tons of newsletter advice out there that are like, oh, your subjects should be like really, really hooky. And I'm like, nope, vulnerable you, number 167. You're either here or you're not. I'm just like, whatever. And John gets this. John, I know you've talked about this too, right? People bitch to you about like thumbnails and stuff being cringy. And it's like, I sympathize because there's like this balance that we all have to play of like playing the game, like the content game, while being like actual cybersecurity experts like John and I are. There's a lot of people out there that talk on the internet about cybersecurity that aren't cybersecurity experts. They're content creators that just happen to cover this space sometimes, right? John and I work in the field. We know a lot about this space and we're content creators. So you got to like play both games. And sometimes when you play too much of the content creator game, you lose credibility on the cybersecurity expert side of the game. So like a lot of our life is like balance, right? You're not a cybersecurity expert. I don't like to call myself an expert, but in the context of this, what we're talking about, yeah, like 18-year career, I've done a lot of shit in this space, whatever, right? John still works in this space. John doesn't do YouTube full time. Sorry, John, you're here, so I'm just pointing to you as an example because you're here and chat's quiet. And so it's just a weird game to play. Like, so I'm not asking for sympathy or anything like that. It's just, hey, a little peek behind the curtain. Sometimes this shit is hard, especially when you're throwing a bunch more time and money and people at the whole shebang, right? And I don't expect it to like work right away. You know what I mean? I'm in it for the long haul. But like you expect when quality and quantity go up that other numbers would go up, and they just haven't for this whole year. 2026 has just been significantly different feeling for me than 2025, right? For a lot of stuff. But I'm doing the live streaming. It's been fun. It's been cool hanging out with you guys. I'm just going to keep on keeping on. It's just weird. Just a weird space. Literally just got the 100 message stream at the end of, usually I get that in the first like half an hour. Sorry, guys, this is weird. It's not what you're signed up for, but just like showing you what's up. Mohammed, thank you so much. I appreciate it. No, I get tons of good feedback. I'm not stopping. Don't worry. I have the right audience, right? It's just like, I'm just trying to explain to you guys. It's just like really, really weird thing to do, right? Artificial hacker. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Where did that article go? Yeah, we were just talking about that. It was still in my browser. It's kind of a weird, like it was more funny that it was like irresponsible disclosure. Well, it was responsibly disclosed, and then Microsoft didn't do anything about it. So then it was publicly disclosed, which was just funny, right? He was just like pissed at Microsoft's response to it, right? And so that was kind of funny. And then a lot of people just couldn't get the vuln to work, though. They were like, hey, the researcher was like, I don't care. This is a vuln. I'm not working the bugs out of my POC. I'm not explaining to you guys how this is done. I don't care. I'm done giving you any of the work. He had a video recording the POC, and then someone else reproduced it too. Yeah, this security researcher was able to reproduce it, but a ton of people weren't, right? So where's the other, I forget. Somewhere else in this article, it's like other people had a hard time reproducing it. And he's like, and the researcher's like, yeah, it's a buggy POC. I ain't fucking doing whatever. 100 message party. John, do you use Restream? Like Restream is what just gave me that. Congratulations, 100 messages in chat today. I really don't like Restream, but I checked the POC. It's basically a Windows Defender race condition on signature. Yeah. So like, he's like, it's buggy, whatever. But he's like, I'm not bluffing. Here's the exploit. I'm not explaining how this works. Y'all geniuses figure it out. Huge thanks to Microsoft leadership for making this possible. Like, yeah, it was pretty funny. I would like to continue to show you guys this my latest obsession. Oh my gosh. Why is my browser freaking out? Hold on. I'm finding it. I'm finding it. Where is it? Oh my gosh. Why is this so hard to find? Why is this website such hot garbage? What up, Class of OJ? How is it literally not on the website? Now I got to find it somewhere else. Oh, here it is. So, those of you guys, you check the PSC. Wait, I saw people were failing to reproduce. Yeah. So, this was my latest obsession. Okay. So while I was at PAX, one of the guys in chat was at PAX too, talking to me. My friends were playing Commander, which is like a version of Magic the Gathering I was telling you guys about earlier, right? So I bought this Frodo and Sam deck because I'm a big Lord of the Rings nerd. If you guys have never seen my Elvish tattoo or my pocket Lord of the Rings that I keep on my desk, some people have pocket Bibles, some people have pocket Constitutions. I have a pocket Lord of the Rings. So this Magic the Gathering, which I had not played since college, also, all of a sudden having Lord of the Rings decks, I got nerd sniped. Eowyn, Frodo and Sam, Galadriel, and Sauron are the commanders of these decks. And commanders have like different rules where the commander can kind of come in and out of battle. Even if it dies, it kind of is, it's got a special set of rules around it, right? Pre-order now. Oh no, 2023. Yeah, why is this not on the website? It's so weird that this is not on the website. Like I was trying to find this. Oh no, it's there. It like is not linked very well. But you get all these beautiful art and it's like yeah, big pocket. Yeah, I wear Janko jeans just to carry around my Lord of the Rings. The art is all book art too, not movie art. So the hobbits don't look like the movie hobbits and Gollum doesn't look like the movie Gollum. The art is just awesome. So completely nerd sniped. Just insane, right? So I'm going to wind up buying all of these fucking things, right? But yeah, look, that's like book Frodo, right? So I got home and I like when you play in a tournament in person, the judges make you download some app. There's like a Magic the Gathering companion app, right? You prefer Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And the companion app, like I had to like register in order to participate in this official tournament at PAX. And they like gave me a free deck if I won or whatever. And so that's how they track that, you know, whatever. Like they do this all through this app. And so I got home and the app like sends me a push notification. I'm like, ah, crap. I've got this garbage app on my phone that I'm never going to use again. And it's going to send me spam. But the notification was like, oh, check for Commander events near you. And I was like, wait, what? Like I just bought this Commander deck, like super, you know, just curious, right? There's like multiple stores near me, like in Austin that just run these Commander nights and Commander events. And so I went to one of them and I bought the Sauron deck at this other store. And there was like 100 people there playing Commander, not just playing Magic the Gathering, playing with these kinds of decks, just specifically Commander, which I was like, whoa, that's so freaking cool. And so, yeah, anyway, highly recommend. This is super fun way to play some of these. What is this? Learn to play Magic with 2-player starter kit. I'm on Amazon now. Holy shit. They have tons of these booster packs. Wow. Oh, I could have bought all the Commander decks at once for cheaper. That would have been smart. Sauron was super expensive. Why are some more expensive than others? Look at this. It's like these are all the same kind of deck. Like Sauron is 99 and Galadriel is 55. Is this one better? Sam and Frodo kicked my ass. So just FYI. What's up, that guy? We're talking about Magic the Gathering for some reason. These commander decks are pretty sick. Pretty sick. Notice these game stores pop up in your region too. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a day walker amongst Magic the Gathering fans. I'll tell you that. You know what I mean? Like, it definitely attracts a certain type of crowd that sits at a very small game store playing Commander. Yeah, I've been live for 3-ish hours, and the whole rest of it, we were talking about very deep security news of the week. So now we're reacting and talking about Magic. Yeah, that guy. It's a really popular role-playing card game, Magic the Gathering. It's been around since, I don't know, at least the 90s. Does it go back to the 80s? But now they're licensing intellectual property. So there was a bunch of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff going on at PAX where I was. But yeah, they're these cards, and they also have a Steam version. But the tabletop has been super fun for me in my life. I'm kind of interested about this Marvel. You said Aries was in chat. You said you had the Spider-Man deck. Spider-Man Commander deck. That's probably pretty cool. Oh, the art is just beautiful. Look at the art on these cards. Oh my gosh. It's just straight comic art. Even the font of the abilities is comic font. This is gorgeous. Oh, you were thinking about getting it. What commander deck did you have on you? Oh my God, it's beautiful. It's already out? Yeah, it's out. I'm not even a big Spider-Man guy or comic guy, but that shit is gorgeous. Gift bundle. Where's they don't have the commander, huh? You forget what it's called. Commander Gisa and Gareth. Older. Oh yeah. So just like straight Magic character, not like an IP one. Educating that guy requires you file info. No. That's the only pre-con I had. You've built 5 or 6. Oh, I really only like to play with pre-cons. I find if I delve too much into playing people that have like made or built a deck, they just like wipe the floor with you. So pre-cons are like set to be balanced, and so then you just kind of have more fun. I'm not trying to win, I'm just trying to have a good time. The Ninja Turtles, did the Ninja Turtles have a commander deck? I didn't see a commander deck of Ninja Turtles. I just saw I played in like a draft, a booster draft there that was Ninja Turtles related. Oh, so sick. Dude, the cards are so awesome for the Ninja. I was a Ninja Turtles kid. Yeah, I had this in my booster deck, the vehicle. So you can get in the news van, basically, and attack with the news van. And if you attack with the news van, the mutant creature that you're attacking with gets +1/+1. Oh, so fucking cool. I didn't see this one in my deck. I didn't play a pre-con. I played booster draft. So it was whatever I got. Turtles in Time card. Oh my God. Just nerd sniping the millennials. You got a couple cards from licensed IPs, but no pre-cons. Yeah. You're new to your streams. So so can I know a little bit about you? You hack. That guy, I'm so sorry. We talked for like hours about cybersecurity and you just caught me on like the whatever. So yeah, I'm a longtime cybersecurity guy / content creator, I guess, before that was even a thing. Longtime podcaster. Most recently, I was head of software security at Reddit. Before that, I ran vulnerability management and then cloud security, or backwards, at Bank of America. Head of security at a fintech startup that got bought by Goldman Sachs. I've been doing this a long time as a pen tester for a while ago. Here comes the nutshell lore. He asked. I run a newsletter nowadays, and YouTube channel and Twitch, all under this brand, Vulnerable You. So weekly newsletter, some stories, stuff like this. So you can go subscribe to my newsletter if you want. But yeah, we do 3 times a week nowadays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning, cybersecurity streams. We talked about a bunch of news today. I spent most of the first part of the stream. For those of you who missed it, want to go watch the VOD or whatever. We talked about this. Let's see. Jesus Christ, it's so long. It's hard to scroll to the top. We talked about this Internet Cybercrime Complaint Center, IC3, talking about all the data from 2025 about scams and hacks and how the elderly got lost, almost $8 billion in scams and hacks last year. A lot of this having to do with investment scams, like with fake cryptocurrency type stuff. We've talked a lot about romance scams. So, yeah. So you can go watch the VOD on YouTube. I know you're on Twitch, that guy, but if you pop into YouTube, you can watch the VOD of all of the security stuff. But I'll be live tomorrow morning and Thursday morning as well. I try to go live by 9 a.m. Central for a few hours. Just checking. I try to keep an eye on the Twitters while I'm live because stuff, news breaks. But thanks for checking the stream out. That wasn't too much of a lore dump, was it, Coyote? I hope. What did Zach say? With all due respect to John. John, I don't know if you're still here, but that interaction with Zach on Twitter was pretty funny. YouTube name is... What is my YouTube name? It's either my actual name or Vulnerable You. Here, I'll just dump this into chat. You need 3-hour unabridged timeline version of the lore dump, including your side quests. Glass of OJ. Glass of OJ, are you a TikTok homie? There's a TikTok cybersecurity creator that goes by Glass of OJ. Have we bumped into each other on TikTok? Do you do a podcast that you put clips on TikTok of? What was your security stack at Reddit? Yeah, I can't go too much. It is you. Okay, cool. Welcome, Glass of OJ. It's lonely in short form video cybersecurity land. So I kind of know everyone doing it because there's not a lot of us. I haven't seen you on my feed in a while. I don't know. Yeah, you used to. Yeah, okay. There you go. You do YouTubes now. Okay, I'll check you out. Everyone go check out Glass of OJ. Happy to give lore dump at some point. I always like telling the story about how I got into cybersecurity when people start asking questions about how to get into cybersecurity. But Glass of OJ would do kind of my style, or at least my similar content we talked about on TikTok, but you did like a podcast format where I did my floating head green screen format. There's not a lot of us cybersecurity people doing short form video. So it's lonely out there. I met, there's this TikToker, Jessica Baker. I don't know. I forget. Dr. Jessica Baker or Barker. She's from the UK. I think she lives in the States now. She's a cybersecurity short form creator. I met her in SF at RSA a couple weeks ago, and I looked at her and I was like, You're from TikTok like me. there's like fucking 5 of us. Hi. So not a lot of hacker peeps. Yeah. Not a lot at all. Not a lot at all. And a lot of bullshit. I took a screenshot. Should I share an embarrassing screenshot I took? I took like a pretty ridiculous screenshot of a live stream yesterday. I'm not going to share my photo library. How can I open this in? Yeah, look at this shit. Look at one Roman. Roman pops up to just be like, yes, share the tea. All right, I know nothing about this content creator. This guy might be a great guy, but this is what I'm up against. This is why I don't TikTok live stream anymore. This is every TikTok security related live stream. This is it. Cybersecurity is easy. I've got 6-figure salary. Come listen to me. I'll tell you how to do it. Like I said, Peasy, if you ever see this, I don't know. I don't know anything about you. You could be super cool. You're an IAM security engineer. Cool. There's another guy that does it. It's like cloud security. He puts his salary on the fucking thing. There's another guy that does it, puts his salary on the thing. I love the ones that are like, it's a salary, but it's all X'd out, but it starts with a 1. It's like $1 XX, comma XXX. It's like, I make in the 100,000s. It's like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? And it's just like a list of certs. And then they just answer questions about certs. Like, and their questions are, their answers and the questions are generic as shit, right? Yeah, I met them too. FC and, yeah, Techstud, were you out at the RSA? I met them. They were super nice. They repeat the same thing every live. Yeah. Here's my roadmap. Join my Discord. I'll give you my roadmap. You're going to go security plus. A plus is garbage. Don't get A plus. Then you're going to get this cert, this cert, this cert. And all the while, you're going to like apply for jobs. It makes me want to blow my fucking brains out. Anyway, so that's why I don't live stream on TikTok anymore. It's all it is. It's all people expect of me too, because that's what they're swiping through. They get cybersecurity content. It's a fucking 10 of those things. And then me, right? And then no one likes to hear what I have to say. They're like, what cert should I get? And I'm like, none. Don't get any. No certs. What up, Kilobyte? Good to see you. Oh, text that was a few years ago. Got it. You know, you like better than Cars? What? Cars 2? Lightning McQueen? The Reprieve? You're the only creator from TikTok that you still watch after deleting the app. Oh, Roman, you're not even on there anymore? Knowledge. Yeah, for sure. There's some good people. There's some good people. And like some of these people might be good people too. They're just playing the game, right? I told you I have to balance between playing the game and like keeping true to like actual security self. Those people have gone too far into play the game mode. You know what I mean? They just are copying what they see other people do that they think works. It doesn't. It doesn't. The online guru grifter. Yep. That's why I don't sell you guys a fucking course. You know how many people have asked me for something like that? I'm like, no, I just can't bring myself to sell you guys a course. You're leaving money on the table. I'm like, I don't care. I don't want your money. I want your boss's money. Tell your boss to sponsor my channel. I'll take budget all day. Oh my gosh. It's so frustrating. You thought about playing the game to get money after studying what everyone did. Ethics took over. Yeah. It's not even that unethical if you're actually providing some value, right? Like there are some really good course people out there. Jason Haddox puts out a course that he could be charging 10x for, right? Dan Miesler pays for like he charges for some education type stuff, probably more in a corporate setting. He's a fucking expert of experts, right? On this stuff. And so they're adding value in the room, right? But some of these people are like, oh, I make 120 grand now. And they're just selling, they're like looking back down, you know, and they're like, follow me. I don't know. It just can't be you recycled YouTube content. Totally. All right, ladies and germs, we're coming up on 3 hours. I'll probably wrap up here-ish. We can do a little bit more Q&A. I got a lunch date with some people. We're trying to start something together, me and a few friends trying to start something together. So we're going to do a little working lunch. Kind of funny that we're going to a spot for lunch that someone else, I was talking to someone else and they were like, I'm going to lunch there today. I was like, oh, it would have been really funny if we just ran into each other. Oh man, all my content creator homies reaching out. Saw your tweet. You doing all right? Everyone, all the content creator homies know what's up. And I fucking burnt out publicly on Twitter last night, yesterday morning, and people are like, you doing good? The idea under wraps, or can I share the premise? So I've talked about it a little bit before. I could share the premise. I don't care. So we're trying to, you guys know how I was trying to start more of like a premium community on Volnu. So I have like a premium newsletter. Virtually no one signs up for it. It's just extra content and no one really cares. And so I didn't want to just like gate the Discord thing based on everything that we just talked about, right? I didn't want to just like charge for my Discord, right? All of it felt weird, but a ton of people were asking for like a Patreon type thing. And so I was like, whatever, I'll turn it on, right? In my newsletter land. But I wanted to do more of a community that like I could bring guest speakers to, we could like add a lot of value to it. We could do book club. We could do like more than just like, yeah, come hang out with me. I don't want to like charge for like extra access to me or more content, right? I wanted to like really kind of figure out like something that was worth joining that thing for, that wasn't yet another Discord or course, right? And so it's been a while to try to actually launch it because I just keep kind of winding up in that same like yet another Slack land. And so the direction that I've kind of been going is more AI stack related. And so I know cringe, go ahead and cringe away, right? But like, give me a second. So like, I'm talking to a lot of people, not even necessarily in security, that just can't keep up with how fast AI is changing. And like, even people that are obsessed with it, right? So I'm in a few group chats with like AI obsessed people. And like, we even struggle to keep up. And like, we talk about it all day together, right? And we live on these tools all day together, right? So if you're a normie and you're not obsessed with this, forget about it. It's impossible, right? I talked to a developer, professional developer in Austin, Texas, a couple weeks ago that had never used Claude, right? And it's like, whoa, right? Like no judgment, but just like wild the disparity between some of these people, right? My buddy that I can see across the hall from me right now has 4 Claude Max subscriptions at $200 a month, right? Or maybe he has 2, maybe Jason Haddix has 4. I got people that are, they can't not, like, they just keep running out of tokens, right? So $200 a month max Claude Code Max subscriptions used to be fairly infinite. The limits have definitely gone down, right? Make your own local model is not viable advice for development or security research work. The quality of security research and code out of Claude Opus 4.6 is very, very, very good, right? It's finding ODAs, it's fixing vulns, all this kind of stuff. You cannot do any of that with local model, right? You can't. You can do a lot of like basics, you know, all the OpenClaw stuff, like Telegram shit, and like check your email, do your calendar. You can do all that with local for sure. You're going to stub your toe. They're worse. You can do it, right? Coding and security research, you need Opus 4.6 right now. I think Codex works pretty well too. Become a black hat, steal Anthropic keys. Yeah, totally. Jailbreak Claude Code. Anyway, like here I am getting into it, right? So I've got people that are like using way too much Claude, right? They're obsessed with this stuff. We're all using different tools on top of it, right? Here, I'll pull up a tool. So like the guy that wrote this literally sits across the hall, Run Maestro, This is what I do to code. If you guys want to check it out, it's free open source little wrapper around Claude Code with a ton of extra features in it. I can do a whole stream about how I use this to code. Should we do this tomorrow morning? You guys want to do a Maestro, how I'm at the top of this leaderboard in auto running? I let this thing run for 2.5 days without it talking to me about code. You got people that have run it for cumulatively. Pedram's the author of the tool. 20 days, 35 days of coding. This is auto run. This is without nudging it along. Like if you use Claude Code and you're like, keep going or do this instead or whatever, right? And then it goes and does something for 15 minutes and then comes back. No, it's give it a long list of tasks to do and let it rip, right? So this is like a thing. No two people that I know that use Maestro use it the same way. I've shoulder surfed people and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I don't even know. Your workflow doesn't make any fucking sense, right? What exactly is it doing for that long? Hard to explain in a short period of time. So my workflow very much is I go into like Claude plan mode. And then if you've ever used Claude Code and you do /plan, it's like a conversation. It's basically read only. It's not writing, right? And I go into plan mode about like whatever I'm trying to work on or build or research or whatever, right? And then at the end of plan mode, it's usually like, cool, ready to go. Like, should I go do it? And at that point, I say, no, don't go do it. Write a bunch of markdown files with all of the tasks that you've identified and make checklists in Markdown of all the tasks that you've identified in this planning session. And then Maestro, you can give an auto run, which was that leaderboard. You can give an auto run a list of Markdown files with checkboxes in it. And Maestro will, to each checklist item, bring fresh context so you don't run into that compaction shit or whatever. And then it develops its own success criteria. It can loop through the thing more than once to make sure that it's all done. It can build tests. It can do a lot of different stuff, right? So the reason it takes so long is because it's like treating each checklist as like a fresh request. If you've used Claude Code in line, that's not the behavior if you're just using it in the command line, right? So like the longer the list of tasks to give it and the more complicated the list of tasks to give it, or if you're just looping it through researching something until it figures something out or just indefinitely, that's where you get those super long auto runs, right? Repeatedly iterating and improving the code. You could do that. You could absolutely do that. That's like one of those suggested ways that Karpathy or whatever that guy's name talks about it. That's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like, I have an idea for like a whole new feature of a SaaS product that I've been building. I'm gonna build out this long list of tasks that like define that feature, and then I'm gonna kick this thing off overnight, right? Yeah, Codex and Opus are two different. Codex is like the OpenAI bit. Opus is a model on Claude, right? Claude has Opus, Sonnet, Haiku. Codex has like all the OpenAI models, right? So there's different models. Codex is pretty good too, I hear. I haven't really used a whole lot of Codex. I live pretty much solely in this Maestro. The other tool I live in is Pi, P-A-I, by Daniel Miessler. You guys have probably heard me talk about that. Here, I'll bring that up too. Here. So Daniel Miessler's Pi personal AI infrastructure. Again, it's kind of like a wrapper around Claude Code in the command line. And what it does, what it's really good at is like context management and bringing a whole bunch of other context to the table, right? And it has like this decision algorithm based on the question you give it. So if you give it a prompt, it'll spin up a whole bunch of stuff to decide what to do with that prompt instead of just throwing it right to Claude. And then it kind of brings all this like personal understanding about you too. Like, what are your goals, projects? Like, what businesses are you running? Like, what are you doing? What projects are you working on? Whatever. And then based on the prompt, it can like bring in the right context at that time to use it, right? So anyway, Roman. So like kind of thinking about this in a higher level, sell seats to businesses again, instead of selling, to people. I really just don't like taking individuals' money, right? So I was charging like, I was thinking about charging like $60 a month to access a community with guest speakers and all this kind of stuff. And I was just like, I don't know. Right. And so instead we're kind of talking about like, could we do this and sell seats to businesses? So like you could expense it with like your learning and development budget. And we come up with like a first 90 days to get you up to speed with the AI workflows that we think are worth it. Like we bring a bunch of experts to the table and say, this is our stack that we like and we think is worth it. Let's get you like white glove, everything installed, up to speed, whatever. Not just security people, not just, even tech people. Like I was talking to a law firm that's like, man, I'm hearing about this stuff and I think we're going to get lapped if we don't adopt it. We don't know where to start, nor do I even know if I want to start. I want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be an AI expert, right? And so it's like, cool. Could we do something, right, where we get you up to speed and then kind of do cohorts, right, where it's like a bunch of you kind of go through it together and help each other out, kind of design it, and then the community starts to kind of snowball from there. We were looking at Hampton as like a model. If you guys know Hampton, it's like an entrepreneurs group, like executive group thing. I don't know. If you listen to business podcasts, you might have heard about Hampton. It's like the My First Million guys, good podcast, business podcast. One of them started Hampton. Anyway, so we're talking about that. Oh my gosh. There's a PR guy that has my personal cell phone. Sorry if you're watching this, bro, but my personal cell phone should not be used to pitch me covering your stories. Oh my gosh, I got to set this boundary with him. I was like, yeah, we're homies, but like, you cannot be calling me. He's calling me right now, and he's just pitching some research that his company did that he wants me to cover on YouTube for free. Remember I told you guys, like PR wants me to talk about shit for free. They don't have sponsorship budget, but their companies definitely have sponsorship budget. Yeah, Roman, I think it is cool. And we'll probably do like a scholarship thing for, like you said, like you having like a learning and education smaller budget versus, executives joining or whatever. So yeah, dude. Thanks, Roman. Appreciate the support. So yeah, we're talking about it. I mean, so the one guy coming to lunch is, the one who wrote that tool. So we are talking about like experts of experts here. So that's one idea. The other idea that I'm building, I've told you guys about, right, is like security awareness training. You know how that sucks at every company you go work for and they boringly teach you what like phishing and malware is. It's like, hey, I've proven that I'm pretty decent at the short form content thing. Like what if I could deliver the short form content as security awareness training for people? So if like companies could license my shit and like I deliver the training, that's the other thing I'm kind of working on the side. So that's what like I'm coding on the side is like Slack apps for that, team apps for that, like the website for the training business, stuff like that. So I've been doing a ton of vulnerability research with Claude recently and Pi. Oh, Roman, you are? We should talk if you guys want to demo it. I've got like a Slack app and a Teams app that like DMs you security trainings. I was using Pi. I think I found a Chrome security vuln, but I'm not a good browser security person to figure it out. But I couldn't write an exploit. So it's not like the big bounty, but I might have found a bug that would catch me like a few $1,000 or something like that in Chrome. It's hard to validate without the exploit. So I don't know if it's AI slop or not. But anyway. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm going to go to lunch in a few minutes here. So I'm going to wrap. This has been fun. Thanks for all the new people who hung out. Chat woke up when you guys all got here. We were snoozing a bit for the early cybersecurity news portion of the feed. But we got there. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for asking questions. I will be live tomorrow. I know Wednesday's optional. I will be live tomorrow. Same thing. I have a lunch, but I'll be live tomorrow. So tomorrow and Thursday morning, I'll be doing the same damn thing. So, yeah, Bill, I got you. Busy at the hospital. Glad you joined. What time tomorrow? 9 a.m. Central till noon, like till just before noon or so. All right, guys, cool.